What is up, RotoGrinders? One last time for the regular season, the NFL Pick 6 show. It is week 18, the information slate, your season-long DFS. Well, season-long DFS, that's not a thing. That's an oxymoron. Your season-long leagues, they're over. Best balls have been won, but plenty of money can be won here on week 18, the information slate. We're coming at you noon on a Friday. Shout out to those that are listening to us live. Before we fully dive in, I do want to mention we are going to do the first 2 weeks of the playoffs. So we're not done. We're not done for the season. Regular time, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock. The last two shows will be the first 2 weeks of the playoff season. As always, two of the absolute best in the business. Myself, Dean Shavelson, joined by John Daigle from ETR, Establish the Run, as well as Rich Hribar, Sharp Football Analysis. Boys, we did it. We made it. We're scrambling as we go on air because there's more. There's practice news coming in and out and coming out, and we're going to do the best we can on a Friday afternoon to break down the Sunday slate, which almost definitely will change in some ways, some meaningful ways. And we're not going to be scrambling for salary this week, I don't think. Hribar, how are things? Week 18, we did it.
Yeah. Happy New Year to everyone out there. Happy late holidays for Christmas, and then you get to enjoy two games that matter on Saturday. It'll be funny if actually the Saturday game doesn't end up mattering, because if the Atlanta Falcons win on Sunday now against I know the big Tyler Shuck looms on Sunday, but with no Chris Olave, I mean, we're rolling out a pretty deep skeleton crew of Saints pass catchers at this point. But if that game ends up not mattering, would be kind of funny. But then you got the 49ers Seahawks game, which everyone's looking forward to. And then, the primetime game on Sunday night, which we ended up still getting Steelers Ravens at the end. So it ended up mattering. So other than that, though, it's going to be wide open. Like I said, I had a list of like 20 guys that I was waiting to see if practice today or get injury reports on today.
I'm excited to learn about. I feel like we're going to hear somebody mention Kevin Austin for the Saints, possibly. One of the cheapies that's popping up and saying things that I'm running. But again, this slate is going to change so many times.
Dean, are you ready for Tarleton State's finest Darius Cooper to be 20% owned on the slate?
Yep.
What is the Tarleton State mascot? Tarleton?
No clue.
That's a school? Tarleton State?
That's Texas's finest college.
All right. Shout out to Tarleton State. TJ, let us know to Tarleton State that their mascot. Let us know. Producer TJ behind the proverbial glass. Daigle, we're at week 18. How are we feeling? You can exhale a little bit. We're going to do the best we can here as far as this 13-game slate. You know what? 6 and 7 is our breakdown. Wow, 7 late games. Look at that. Lots of hammer games. 6 early, 7 late. TJ, you got it for me? What do they call Tarleton?
The
Bobcat?
Tarleton State Texans,
What?
and their mascot is the Texan Rider. It is a man in some tight jeans,
I
a white cowboy hat, a little white scarf, and a purple shirt of some kind.
Lazy.
When I recreate my franchise on any sports game, baseball or NFL, I always recolor the jerseys and I rebrand us to the Chicago Burgers. That's kind of like the Texan Riders. That's just a very lazy video game give up.
Why the Burgers? That's just your default. That's just your go-to. That's what it's always been.
It's one thing that defines Chicago, but also the Chicago Burgers is a great team name. And then you could download the Whataburger logo from online and use that on your jersey.
All right, Daigle. We're going to do the best we can. Obviously, you guys know it. Main slate. We're talking about the main slate. The 3 main games we're going to break down just here in a second. We're going to circle back as far as our favorite plays, position by position that we've not yet discussed. Talk about the information slate. It's all about motivation. It's all about trying to figure out who's going to play, how much they're going to play. And one of the tricky things as far as the slate is that the teams that are fully motivated, Denver, Jacksonville, Houston, they're all massive favorites. So it's not even so much are they going to try. It's like, how long do they have to try? Because they're facing pretty much inept teams that are just hitting the sim button and they cannot wait for the season to end. But anything big picture, anything overview wise you want to say before we kind of dive in and do our 3 main games?
I think the 3 main games are correct. We'll talk about some offenses we expect to do well, similar to last week. But overall, when we talk about motivation, which teams are still really competing right now for what's going on, plus weaving out, for instance, the Cardinals-Rams game. We'll see what the Rams' motivation are after that Niners-Seahawks performance, since it kind of rides on that. But we'll discuss it as we move in and out of the games.
You got anything, Hribar, as far as big picture that's worth mentioning, or shall we just dive in?
No, yeah, we can just try to make some sense out of what we know right now.
And you said, Dean, it's an information slate, which is correct. But again, we're recording this on Friday at noon Eastern, and we still don't have like 70% of the information we need.
Yeah, we're going to do the best we can. A lot of speculating. You're going to want to stay tuned for actives and inactives, 11:30, an hour and a half before kickoff on Sunday. And then, you're going to probably get some surprises out of nowhere you're not necessarily expecting, and some stuff we're going to speculate on as well. What do you got, TJ? Do you have any updates? Is there anything breaking news?
Very important big picture stuff to keep in mind, especially piggybacking off of what you said, things you want to stay tuned for. We got not one, but two movies we're talking about at the end of the show today. And I came on to shout out Rim Stims in chat, who the loser of his fantasy league has to watch Trolls 2.
That's my only
winner. That's a prize.
I'm about to say my only complaint is that the winner should have to do that.
I also did want to show off. Let's see if it works. Oh, it doesn't even look like StreamYard's going to accept it. But a Christmas present I got this year in courtesy.
We put it on the show last week.
Oh, you put it on the show? Okay, perfect. Then I don't even have to worry about the picture not working today. So yeah, that's great.
Trolls 2 is slowly.
You don't piss on hospitality signage for my bathroom.
Trolls 2 is becoming the second most important film we've ever reviewed, only behind Tiptoes.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know if Tiptoes can get the throne. That's probably not ever going to happen, but that's a pretty solid 1-2. First game we're talking about here, Dallas, the Cowboys at the Giants. Giants are getting 3.5 points here at home. They are, as far as the total, pretty big total, one of the bigger totals on the board this week. It's 49.5. We saw the Giants take care of the Raiders last week, and essentially, I guess it's not officially done. I suppose they can still get the number one pick, I think they're in contention at least. But, shout out to the Raiders and, tanking it right out in the open, essentially. But, yeah, Daigle, how do we feel about the Cowboys? A meaningless game for both teams here. Dallas at the Giants. Big total. Are these teams going to just play it straight up? What is your read?
I would think right now they play it straight up. And I will start with the Cowboys side, as we're just trying for both of these teams to get through the season, just end it all, like all of us, to be honest. And at least for Dallas, we know that the Giants side of the ball, and switching defensive coordinators this last month, we're still seeing them blitz on 43% of their defensive snaps. And we want to play this through Dak Prescott if we do. Well, the Cowboys offense in general. But that's what makes it fun about stacking the Cowboys in this game, because along the way, the last 3 weeks in particular, one, Dak Prescott in general on the season, 8.5 yards per attempt, 7th highest completion rate against the blitz. That's already a positive. But also it's fun and stacking him if you're going that way, because we've kind of lost Jake Ferguson. The PPR scam has really just given up finally. The last 3 weeks now, Jake Ferguson, just a 7.5% target share. Meanwhile, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens hoarding 40% of the team's targets, 17 catches for Lamb, 14 for Pickens in that time. And so at least the stacking partners have become clear. Not only that, I didn't see Javonte Williams' status today, but the same reason Ashton Genty is incorrectly played by 50% of the field is why, if we lose Javonte Williams here, is why we also go to Malik Davis as most likely a cash game option on this slate too. So overall, I just think there's some really interesting pieces here for the Cowboys offense in this spot.
Davis also was not practicing, correct? Am I?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
We're waiting.
Great information slate.
Yeah.
So Jaden Blue, maybe. Stay tuned.
Yeah, and Jerry Jones said there's a chance he could play. They also said they might not play Dak Prescott the whole game, which we don't know is going to happen or not. He's 34 yards ahead of Matthew Stafford, so we don't really know until today. We'll probably have to wait till final reports for the running backs today, but neither guy's practiced through Thursday at all. So we'll see what happens. But
so, Rich, for DChess, if you're the Cowboys, don't you want the Giants to win this game, right? Like, I know Jerry Jones wants to win everything. He wants to stick it to his opponents, but, division rival. I pulled up the NFL Tankathon. Vegas, of course, 2-14 there in the catbird seat. Giants, Jets, Tennessee, Arizona, all 3-13. You don't want the Giants to get the number 2 pick. And I'm not saying there's going to, maybe that's motivation in some way to not play Dak.
I don't think we've ever had Dean randomly freeze on the show before, but
yeah, he's out of there. I don't know. He was talking about the Giants, not tanking for a pick, but
as
go ahead.
as we know, that is not how NFL teams think. A lot like, with the motivation things everyone's talking about right now and the seeding teams, I don't even think they look at who their opponents would be. If they lost a game or won a game, they don't see 12 wins or a division winner. They just play to win it out most likely. So I think what he was about to ask you, Rich, was just about overall. What do you believe the odds are here for the Cowboys offense?
Yeah, and I don't think that they'll outright. I think Brian Schottenheimer's just they're thinking about the Giants having the number 2 pick and trying to prevent them from happening. They should be thinking about just not having any of these guys get hurt, though. Remember last year, though, we had Christian Watson tear his ACL, Sam Laporta got hurt in games that didn't matter. So these teams still got to be a little bit careful. I think that's why they were trying to protect a little bit of the information with suggest that Dak Prescott maybe just doesn't need to play the whole game, but they probably want to get him the league lead in passing yards. Even McVay, when we get to that game, said the same thing. He's like, well, we're not going to rest guys, but he also didn't say anything about them playing the whole game either. Mm-hmm. So it's we're trying to just parse out as much information as possible. I do think if you play this game, though, straight up, you definitely just still want to play it as it does get played, heads up. Where you would stack, Dak with Lamb and Pickens, and then we just worry about the running backs. If we get clear information that Malik Davis is playing, we can adjust by that news. And then on the Giants side, we also are flying blind right now too, because Wan'Dale Robinson hasn't practiced yet all week either, and Theo Johnson has also not practiced. He missed last week with the illness. But if Wan'Dale doesn't play, then the ghost of Darius Slayton pops back in.
We keep trying.
Yeah. Well, listen, and Wan'Dale, we've been kind of resistant. You try to fight, but he just keeps getting targets. I mean, he's got a 27% target share in 8 straight games or more, so he would be firmly in play again too. And then we still see Devin Singletary cut into Tyrone Tracy's work last week. So it's a little bit of a vague game, but I still think that you play it straight up for the optimal outcome of hey, Cowboys play this thing through. Giants give them a little bit push. The defenses both we still want to attack, and then if it does play through where it's just played up straight up, you do have at least that run out to where it could be fun and have some fantasy points scored.
At least we also got more design carries or a higher scramble rate for Jackson Dart. I don't even know if it's Mike Kafka anymore for the Giants. It may just legitimately be Dart playing the way he should play for his entire career, outside of not protecting himself and still going head first at times. But that's kind of the only reason we continue playing Dart, is for the carries to go along with, targeting his cheap receivers. But I do think it's thinner because Theo Johnson is going to be in, right? We have Theo Johnson, but
no, he hasn't practiced it either.
Not practiced it. Okay. So yeah, we are waiting on Daniel Bellinger as well. So it's pretty much, we're looking at Dart, as you said, Slayton instead of Wan'Dale, depending on Wan'Dale's status. And then we have both Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary in, correct?
Yeah, and you'll have Isaiah Hodgins will be back into the mix here.
Isaiah Hodgins is good. He should be playing more. He's good. Okay, so I think for this game, outside of that, then I believe, like you, it is pretty clear. Do you have any interest, though, in the Giants running backs, just to clean it up here?
I think Tracy's affordable on both sides. It's just that you have to play the game of, does he get in the end zone? We've seen Singletary cut into him, cut into his workload. I came on last week and vehemently made this case that Dart was still they were going to play the Dart game last week, and they have in the 2 games that they've had favorable matchups. Because a lot of people were like, oh, Kafka's just running out the clock in these games to protect Dart. And it's well, he saw the Commanders game under his resume too. And I think that this Cowboys matchup allows them to kind of just let Dart be Dart in this game too. Since Kafka's taken over, he's thrown the ball 30 times against the Raiders, 36 times against the Commanders. He ran 9 times in both of those games. And then they insulated him in that Patriots blowout, and then the Brian Flores game, which kind of what everyone's done, because people did that again on Christmas, where Dan Campbell's just running against Brian Flores. Dude, the Vikings are a run funnel by design because teams don't like to throw against them. Mm-hmm. So wait till Clayton Tune gets to just to get the sacrificial Week 18 start against Brian Flores this week.
The shower narrative with Matthew Golden is already going public now.
But it is kind of funny, though. We do kind of want Wandell to play for Dart, though, because we do want, at least Dart to have like as strong arsenal as weaponry as possible. So he doesn't have Theo Johnson, doesn't have Wandell. We're basically down to like Slayton, Jalen Hyatt, Isaiah Hodgins. And that's not very intoxicating either, even against the Cowboys.
TJ?
Figured I'd pop in and be Dean until he comes back in because we still don't have a sign of him. And so whenever you guys are ready, I can transition us over to the next game, unless you guys have anything more with the Giants and Cowboys.
No, like Reebs, I think the best way to play it too, which I think a lot of times in week 18, the best way to play these things is to fire the assumptions right back in the field's face. And so just assuming that Dak, Pickens, and Lamb see the entire game and we attack the Giants that way.
I like it. Next one on the table for Sunday. I'm out of practice. I wasn't ready for this. We have the Cardinals and the Rams. You guys mentioned earlier that the Rams, we will know before that game starts whether they are motivated to win or not. What's got to happen between the Seahawks and the 49ers in order for us to actually want to load up on the Rams? Reebs, I'll throw it to you.
I think that it doesn't really matter, right? They're at the 5 or 6 seed no matter what. They're locked in the 6 if the 49ers win. But they didn't play good on Monday night. And McVay kind of talked about, them, wanting to play good football going in the postseason. But he also stopped short of them playing the whole game as well. We did bring up the Dak Prescott, him and Matthew Stafford. He's 34 yards ahead of Matthew Stafford. So they will have the reveal of how many yards Dak Prescott actually threw for. So if it's in striking range, we could see them kind of push for Matthew Stafford early in this game. If we do get a full game for the Rams, I mean, this is, what you would want against this Cardinals defense we've just circled weekly for like the last 8 weeks of the season. And then he had 281 yards, 9 yards passed against them earlier in week 14. Like Puka went for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns in that game. Will be the most interesting thing, I think, for this game in general is just the backfield. And we'll find out today, if Blake Corum practiced. He didn't practice all week with an ankle injury. They haven't had Kyren Williams practice yet either. They've also talked about just alleviating Kyren Williams' workload, which is why Blake Corum came on strong to close the season. We haven't seen Jarquez Hunter play a single offensive snap this season. So Ronnie Rivers would actually be like the guy that would kind of be on the board here. I think even in this game, if just Corum even sits, Ronnie Rivers is in play. The backfield, they had 270 yards as a backfield against the Cardinals the first game. The Cardinals are allowing 185 yards per game to running backs over the past 8 weeks. And Ronnie Rivers actually had 40 yards in that game. So even if he's just in the Blake Corum role in like a game that's straight up, I think that's advantageous for a guy that's 4,600 and 4,200 on both sites. And then you still have the run out of what if they pull these guys at some point? What if he's just playing outright ahead of, Kyren Williams isn't just getting that workload because they know they need him for the postseason. Ronnie Rivers, I think, becomes a very intriguing piece based on the information we get in the rest of Friday.
Daigle, how about you? Who are you going to be prioritizing on the Rams side? And taking a step back, the chat's mentioning Tank Bigsby, Emmanuel Wilson. We're talking about Ronnie Rivers. There's some Jalen Hyatt talk from the last game. We brought up maybe Jaden Blue is playing. Daigle, what's your large scale strategy for a slate like this? Do you cut back on your entry fees? Are you leaving tons of salary on the table? If you find an expensive guy you like in a good spot, are you just going to play him in every lineup? How do you go about week 18 slates that look like this?
I think you can eat a lot of chalk, but following the information and finding the one, it honestly can probably be a one-off, low-owned guy that really the public is not chasing is usually the way I try to play it. I don't want to get too unique since we're all following the same information, but you can get unique in one spot. But for this slate in particular, everyone's mentioning the cheap running backs. That's fine, but the expensive running backs are very good. We'll get to Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs and their games they have going on. But beyond that, you can afford them by playing the cheap wide receivers rather than the cheap running backs. But I do like Ronnie Rivers. I also just prefer the Cardinal side. One, it's really hard to spin for Puka Nacua whenever we don't expect or don't think we'll get a full game for him. But not only that, although the magic has run out now for Jacoby Brissett, we've now seen what happens the last 2 weeks when he doesn't reach 40-plus pass attempts, as he hasn't finished as a top 12 quarterback in that time. But at least in terms of DFS, without Marvin Harrison Jr., we know exactly where the ball goes. Michael Wilson, now without Marvin Harrison Jr., has been targeted on 30% of his routes from Brissett compared to just 14%. We saw Michael Wilson be Jerry Rice earlier this year whenever Marvin Harrison missed time. And so just the fact that we now have honed in targets on the other side of a team that may only play their starters half. If in worst case scenario is the Rams play their starters the entire time and they push the Cardinals even more. I like getting in that honed in target tree between Brissett, Trey McBride, and Michael Wilson. Kirk Cousins didn't get there against the Rams on Monday night because it was the Bijan game and the Falcons only threw 20 passes. But in the month leading up to Monday night, the Rams really started leaking in their secondary. Bryce Young, Brissett himself, Jared Goff, and Sam Darnold all finished as top 12 quarterbacks. So I prefer approaching this from the elite double stack Brissett side as like one last flop lag chance to get Brissett and Wilson in 2025. Well, I guess it's 2026 now, but you get the point.
What's up, boys? My apologies. My internet gave out. I assume TJ handled it. You guys were all good. All the plays for Dallas and the Giants were spectacular. You guys did a great job. I'm going to have to go back and listen. I don't know. I'm curious what they're going to do. I have no idea. And I don't know.
Well, I'll summarize it for you. We don't know what they're going to do either.
Why would Pickens play? Like, what is his upside of going into free agency? I'm not saying he's not going to play. Same thing with Javonte Williams to a lesser degree. And Dallas kind of would like to see the Giants win. So their draft pick is just a little bit incrementally worse. Yeah, and I hear you guys talking about the next game 2, Arizona and the Rams. If we lose the Rams, if they all of a sudden don't try, if things don't work out for them as far as Saturday, incentive-wise, Rich, I don't know if you cover this or not, but if Puka doesn't play, essentially, one of these guys like Mumford, Smith, Whittington, can somebody kind of play that Puka role? Obviously not be Puka, but like, if we're looking for a salary saver, who's the most likely salary saver to step up and be useful, if anybody, on the Rams, if Puka is not a go?
I mean, I would guess it would be Mumfeld, but like you said, we're just flying blind there too. I've already said, Dean, you were gone. I made the pitch just like Ronnie Rivers is the most interesting piece for the Rams. Pretty much like bar none for me. We did see Garoppolo come in week 18 last year and throw over 300 yards. So like I was hoping we were going to get a full game of Garoppolo against the Cardinals because we've been picking on the Cardinals. But with us not knowing how much or how little Stafford's going to play, it just kind of removes that from the field. I think the only 2 guys that we actually know right now that would be in consideration. Actually, I would say only one, because I don't think Trey Lance is in consideration. It's just Tanner McKee. It'd be the only other like backup. Because we're not going to play Clayton Tune against Brian Flores, and we're not going to play Trey Lance against the Broncos.
So we have the salary. It's kind of the question. Like McKee, we're going to have the salary pieces. If not today, we're going to have it on Sunday. So like he's got to beat the good quarterbacks too, right? So is that something he can do? I know he was good. He balled out last year. I know people hype him up, and they say this guy should be playing instead of Jalen Hurts. A lot of Philadelphia fans have heard that. Maybe he would complete a pass in the second half once or twice, but yeah, I guess we'll get to that as well. But did you knock out Arizona and the Rams again? I'm just jumping in here blind.
Pretty largely.
Okay. Is Wilson the best play in this game? Michael Wilson?
Yeah.
On the slate. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the absence of Harrison, he's been spectacular.
He's 93 yards for 1,000 yards.
Yeah, he looks like one of my favorite plays on the slate as well. So, and that's not, I don't think that's sneaking up on anybody. I think he's going to be fairly popular.
Oh, yeah.
So, McBride, right? He has the tight end reception record, I believe. Is that correct? Didn't he get it last week? So
he's tied with Puka for the reception lead overall. And they're 2 ahead of Jamar Chase, who plays at 1.
He's going to want to not just maybe get the reception record, but like, doesn't he want to extend the tight end reception record? Like I assume he's going to be a full go all game. Do you guys agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we know how to play the Arizona side is easy. Like we know what we're doing with with McBride and Wilson just kind of occupying that target tree. They're the easy side. Rams take a little bit of guesswork.
I'll have to sim it out and see if the Cardinals project better without tagging Jacoby Brissett along, just because of what else the slate offers. Yeah. But again, because we know where the targets are going to go right now, my natural lean is to just lean into Brissett and play the two guys with him.
Yeah, my thought, this of course can change, but my thought was like playing one of Wilson or McBride like in every lineup. I don't necessarily have to play Brissett, but you got to think one of them gets home, and certainly two can. I don't think, surely it's possible, especially if the Rams are playing, some backups, which seems like it's the likely scenario in some capacity, at least for part of this game. I feel like at least one of McBride or Wilson gets home.
I am not expecting the Rams guys to play the entire game. It's just that I don't know if it's like trying to get Stafford the yardage lead, right? Like depending how close he is to that, depending what Dak does at one. There's just a lot of gray area in terms of how, because McVay stopped short of saying they'd play the whole game. He just said that they aren't going to rest.
Yeah. And his history also suggests he leans on resting as well.
Puka is a guy you have to have self-preservation with because of his play style. Like he's like Anquan Bolden. Like you've got to be careful because he'll injure himself.
And he's had multiple games recently where he's left. It doesn't seem like they want to push him in this game. That's why, like in theory, of course, you love to play Puka, but like adding the context, I'm nervous right now playing Puka. I don't feel like he's somebody I strongly feel is going to play 4 quarters. And I guess you guys touched on it, but if the Seattle wins, I guess the Rams have more incentive, right? If the Niners win, basically nobody's going to play, most likely.
Yeah, and Reeves led off with the fact that, the Rams got their ass kicked up and down the field on Monday night. So they do need to shake off the rust before the playoffs and then go from there.
Okay, so we're moving on to game number 3. My apologies again on behalf of my internet, and my apologies if some of that was redundant and I just didn't know what you guys did or did not touch on. But Detroit at Chicago, 50.5 total, biggest total on the board. The Bears certainly are a team that's incentivized. They're the only team, right, amongst like the 4 clear and obvious ones that are incentivized. They're actually in a close matchup. Touched on Denver and Jacksonville and Houston. They all want to win, but they're all in double-digit games. This one, kind of surprisingly, I don't know if you guys feel it's Chicago in my head should be bigger than a 3-point favorite, a team that is fully incentivized. Now, I think Detroit's going to play. They know no other way over there. Yeah. And also the matchup of the coaches, with Ben Johnson taking on his former team. I imagine both these teams are going to give it a go, but I'm a little bit surprised Chicago's just a 3-point favorite. Daigle, where do you want to start with the Bears in a meaningful game for them against Detroit?
Very meaningful, and it's an entirely different matchup than the first time these two teams played when it was indoors in Detroit. Ben Johnson's second career game as a head coach on a short week after they lost to the Vikings in the second half on Monday Night Football. And then Goff went out and tossed for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns in that game. Not saying he's not capable of doing that here, but again, entirely different two teams that met each other in September. I think it's most interesting from the Bears side in particular because of one, how we talk about the Lions defense now with just injuries across the board. At least previously we said they were stopping running backs as well and only getting attacked through the air. But now if you look at it over the last month, only the Niners are allowing fewer 0-yard carries than the Lions. Like they're just getting destroyed. I know Aaron Jones, it didn't look good with 2.9 yards per carry, 50 yards, a touchdown. But that's also more of a Max Brosmer stat in that if any other quarterback was playing, J.J. McCarthy included, the Vikings, because of Brian Flores' masterpiece, they beat the Lions by 30 points in that game. It's no competition there. And so I really love attacking it from the Caleb Williams side. And now that it seems we're going to get everyone at full strength, I think it's pretty clear too. I wrote this in my matchups. I'm sure Rich did too ahead of the last week whenever we were looking at, on a short slate, or on a showdown slate, the Luther Burden, DJ Moore, which wide receiver do we attack here? But now over the last month without Rome Odunze, Burden's been in and out of the lineup, but in that time when he's been on the field, he's out-targeted DJ Moore 22-4. Whereas DJ Moore, when he shared the field with Luther Burden, Moore's only been targeted on 8% of his routes in that time. Burden is an amazing player. I don't think people realize how good he is in leading all rookies in yards per route run at his position. And so I think it's pretty clear with not only Luther Burden with Caleb Williams, if you want to go that route, but also Colston Loveland, who a couple weeks ago rivaled his season high in route share, but that was without Burden available. Last week, Loveland hit a season high in route participation with Burden out there. That's what's most important, is that now we're seeing the ceiling in on-field participations like reach for these guys. So yeah, I like Loveland, Burden, and Caleb together if you want to throw DeAndre Swift in the mix because of what I mentioned about Detroit leaking it everywhere now. That's cool too. Run it back with Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown. But I think this game, there are paths for it to be very exciting.
Rich, talk about the Bears and feel free to jump over to Detroit.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Dan Campbell's going to probably play this game straight up. They're going to want to try to win this game. Again, though, like you do have to toss in some concerns here about like Amon-Ra St. Brown is probably going to play, keep like his, game streak going. He's the guy that plays through injuries, but he's dealing with a knee injury, a knee and an ankle now. Left that game last week with an ankle injury. So like you got to protect some of your players too if you're Dan Campbell. Remember last year we talked about it, like Sam Laporta got hurt in week 18 for them. Guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, right? Like I think Jahmyr Gibbs is really exciting on this slate because, he had like the ultimate like disappointment for like fantasy gamers, like the fantasy playoffs. But the Lions ran into 3 tough matchups, Vikings, Steelers, Rams in a row. This would be a spot for him to kind of bounce back, a team that just gave up 180 yards to Christian McCaffrey. But like, should you be playing Jahmyr Gibbs like the full game? Like you probably shouldn't at this point. This is a guy that you need to like be a catalyst for your offense the next year. The offensive line is still a mess. I don't think we'll see Penei Sewell play in this game. So there's some volatility here though, in terms of like how many of those guys. But I think Jameson Williams is probably the most intriguing piece because you feel the safest about like his playing time. Amon-Ra maybe has there's some reservations in game about just not giving him his full workload if he is like this nicked up. So then you get like a full game of Jameson Williams as like the lead target potentially against this Bears team that we've chased kind of all season in terms of giving up splash plays and points to wide receivers. So he becomes like the most intriguing piece to me. I think Gibbs at his projected ownership compared to Bijan is intriguing in the price point, but there has to be like some greater like voice of reasoning that takes over for Dan Campbell. Maybe there isn't, right? Maybe there just isn't, and you just play it straight up. Because I'll probably mix in some Jahmyr Gibbs, but there's no reason for Jahmyr Gibbs to have a high workload in this game.
I feel the same way. I'm definitely concerned, I'm apprehensive, and like you said, Bijan is right there. Now ownership is a thing. Daigle, you have a read on that? Do you have a guess on that? Do you agree? Like it doesn't make sense to like, why would you give Gibbs the ball like 26 times? That doesn't make any sense.
Because you're Dan Campbell trying to win your last game. So I kind of came in it with a different angle, and that's kind of the way I view it now until we hear otherwise. That I just really feel like Dan Campbell, and he's very smart, by the way. He's we use the term fake sharp. He's actually fake dumb. Like he's very sharp, but I don't think getting out of the way your guys that also are warriors, like Amon-Ra St. Brown, remember, showed up on a short week and already played through his injury on Thursday Night Football a couple weeks ago and was amazing through it. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, I see that read. Jahmyr Gibbs, I feel like I am personally projecting him for the full workload here.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's range outcomes, man. And like, if he's the top scoring running back for the week, is anybody really shocked? No.
It's such a good matchup too. Like Reeb said, it's not just Christian McCaffrey like having a season high in rushing yards, 180 yards from scrimmage. Like before that, Ashton Genty was the only running back to go over 100 yards against the Bears. But like behind the scenes, if you looked into it, they were leaking big plays. And now they're 30th in yards before contact per attempt, 28th after. Like if you give a guy like Jahmyr Gibbs the full range, like even 15 to 18 touches, and that's not his full range, he can get 150 yards from scrimmage in this game easily.
Is Caleb one of our favorite quarterbacks of the week? I think he's one of my favorites. We'll talk about T-Law. I've come all around on Lawrence, and we'll talk about him soon enough, I'm sure. But he's going to be one of the more popular ones, a motivated team in a good spot. How do we feel about Caleb? Rich, is he one of our top? You keep a tight quarterback pool. Is he one of your top 4 or 5?
I think so. I think I have it down to 6, and he'd be in there. If he does throw for 270 yards, which isn't a free number, by the way, he would be the first Bears guy to throw for 4,000 yards. Even if he doesn't get it Sunday, he's going to get it.
Sometime,
very soon in his relationship with Ben Johnson, because he's played really well this past month. But he's gone over 20 fantasy points in each of the past 2 games. He's got multiple passing touchdowns in 4 straight games, 5 of his past 6. So with how Detroit's played pass defense, the back half of the year with the amount of injuries they had, I think he's definitely in play. And don't forget the Bears got absolutely embarrassed by the Lions earlier in the year. Like Ben Johnson's gonna, I don't think like there's like a vengeance or retribution for here, but it's like I'm sure he's reminded like, hey, like this team beat the shit out of us earlier in the year. Like let's show up and show them in our house that like we're gonna take care of business too. So I think Caleb's gonna make it for me. There are some other guys. I think he's more of like a tournament play. I'll probably track his ownership, but he's so clean because the stacking partners are so easy. Like Daigle said, you've got Luther Burden and you've got Colston Loveland. I mean, we're going to see Michael Wilson and Luther Burden, I think, be probably 2 of the chalkiest wide receiver plays on the slate.
What if we go back and said that sentence to each other in August about week 18?
Yeah. But
jump in the hot tub time machine.
Yeah.
We would not believe that.
Because Burden practiced in full yesterday, so I assume he's gonna be good to go.
I will note, not that anyone needs to note for Amon-Ra St. Brown, but if we do find out something in the next 48 hours about him like playing all the way through, refusing to sit or something like that, this first game, it's easy enough to say 39% target share with 3 touchdowns against the Bears, but also Bears are allowing the 3rd most fantasy points from the slot. So again, it takes some. We probably need to follow the information a little more, but if Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra St. Brown, for whatever reason, are full go here, I mean, that's your game stack. Caleb doubles with those 2 guys coming back.
We jumped in the hot tub time machine to talk about the past as far as Burden and chalk. What about the future? I'm curious where I'm sure people are laying it out. Where is Burden next year and season long drafts and best ball? Is he like a 2nd, 3rd rounder? Am I crazy to think that?
Dude,
in my head?
I mean, industry is just racing each other to see who can go higher already.
Okay. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, but I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Because if it makes Rome Odunze just the cheap guy who had like all the pipeline to all the end zone touches too, like I'll gladly just scoop up a cheaper Rome Odunze. I like Burden a lot, but if like the steam gets crazy, I mean, dude, he roasted the 49ers. Like let's not go like completely crazy yet.
Whatever's left of them. Yeah.
I don't think DJ Moore will be back on the roster either.
No. He's going to be super popular because he's going to get the Amon-Ra kind of corollary. Like, Ben Johnson with Amon-Ra at the end of his rookie year. He'll be kind of absorbing that role with DJ Moore leaving. So it's like he's going to get super steamed. I'm just curious to where the gap will be between him and Rome in terms of like ADP.
So he's going to be ahead, like well ahead of him?
I would guess if we did a draft tomorrow, he would go ahead of Rome for sure.
I mean, I'm deep in the playoff best ball streets right now, and Odunze is left for dead. Like he's literally just not being drafted at all. I mean,
it makes sense short term because of the foot, just not knowing. But for 2026 purposes,
I was curious, by the way. I thought Jay Cutler got pretty close to 4,000 yards. Like it is a wild stat that nobody's ever thrown for 4,000 in Chicago. I get the elements. He threw for his last year in Denver, 4,500, Jay Cutler. And the most he ever threw for in Chicago, 38-12 in the year 2014. He played 15 games. So I guess if he played 16, he would have got there most likely. But yeah, that is the –
Trestman. Remember Trestman?
Caleb is what, 287 or 278?
He's 270. He needs 270, I think.
270.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Which isn't a free number. I've seen a couple people throw out some incentive stuff, and it's like, dude, well, like that's not like a free. That's like a gimme. Even I just brought up Michael Wilson. Like 93 yards isn't like you just don't get those.
No.
I know I think the biggest one I've seen is Keenan Allen 6 catches. I was like, can Keenan Allen get to 6 catches with Trey Lance? I don't know.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about the Bijan one. Even if like they sell out to get Bijan that record, like 250 yards from scrimmage is like Bijan's done that twice all year.
Yeah. No, we've gotten, like a lot of things in content, we've gotten really lazy with our incentives talk for sure. Just throw the numbers out there, and that means that player's going to suddenly reach it.
Is there one, though, since we're talking about it, Daigle, and I'll ask Rich as well, is there one that you think is a combination of meaningful and obtainable that's worth noting? One that kind of stands out for you?
Keenan Allen's going to get 9 receiving yards. I can tell you that much, but he's not going to get 6 catches, but he'll get 9 receiving yards. They'll get an extra, like, what is that, $250K or something for him? Yeah. That's what I look at. I look at what is actually obtainable, and then it doesn't matter for me. I'm not going to chase 6 catches because you need $750K.
Yeah, and it's also Keenan Allen and who he's attacking. I'm not playing Keenan Allen this week. I don't care what the incentives are.
Also, great exchange. I don't know if everyone's seen that from the locker room. Whenever the reporter told Keenan Allen, he's like, hey, like, what are we going for here? What do you need? And he's like, oh, I got $1 million on the table, like 6 catches, and 9 yards. And then he looked at Trey Lance across the locker room. He goes, hey, we get this, give me 6, bro, and I'll take you out to dinner. And Trey Lance looked at him and said, I need a new car, bro. And then Keenan Allen said, all right, I'll wait for next year.
These guys know, like they talk about
it. Yeah.
And there's that famous clip with Gronkowski talking to Brady, like on the field, and Gronk's like, "Yeah, I need one more." I get him, like just like they give him like a 5-yard out or something like that.
We also remember that because Tom Brady was like the only quarterback to ever make sure he got his guys his incentives.
I thought Manning also was a guy that took care of his.
Oh, Manning too. Okay, so like literally two of the brightest quarterbacks to ever play the game. Yeah, as opposed to now, everyone's like, "Hey, Tanner McKee is going to get this guy an extra $750K," and like, I'm not sure about that.
The Eagles don't want Tanner McKee to do too good. Well, they want to do, I guess, good enough where he's like a better trade chip, maybe, but not too good where like there's rumblings that like let's just make this guy our quarterback. I don't know. I guess they want him to do well.
The Eagles won a Super Bowl last year. Right?
Well, tell their fans that because they're losing their minds. They didn't. They took about 8 minutes and enjoyed it. Flipped over.
Yeah. They won a Super Bowl.
Rich, is there one? Did you have like an incentive that actually is? Do you care about this? It's all sort of case by case, and most of it's nonsense. But is there one that actually matters to you?
No, none of the ones that I've seen. There's a couple freebie ones. I think like there's a couple like Tony Pollard needs like 65 yards. I think most of like the league leading stuff. I think this we'll see get pushed. Like I said, we talk about the Dak and Stafford angle. We've already seen Sean McDermott talk about the James Cook getting the rushing title. I think there's some of that stuff. We talked about the catches, with it kind of being a three person race right now. Jamar Chase plays at 1. So McBride and Nakua will kind of know where they lie there. McVay's also been a guy that's gotten his guys the accolades too, and then gotten him out of the game. So just something to keep an eye on. But most of the other ones like that you see are like, they still take like a little bit of a stretch, right? Like Stephon Diggs needs 8 catches. Like that's still like 8's a big number, right? Like to come out and just get 8 catches. Like Dawson Knox needs 7 yards. They can do that. They can get him those 7 yards if they want to do that. But those are ones all over layups. I don't think there's any ones that like are going to be driven towards like us playing through them for like a DFS angle though.
Okay. Yeah. I just felt like it's always worth it's interesting content if nothing else. And again, the McBride one, I just think McBride would want to extend his tight end records. Like, I don't know if that he's already has it, but why not make it bigger, man?
I mean, I don't think he's thinking about that though. I think he's just a dog that wants to get out there and play.
Sure.
Like he's paid to play. So I don't think, I mean, the record is nice, but they're a losing team that are trying to go out. So I just think more importantly, they're just going to play.
We got anything else as far as Detroit and Chicago, or shall we circle back and go our favorite plays position by position?
Now, this is the game I'd be the most confident out of the 3 we talked about, though, like in full stacking. Like, I don't, outside of just like Dan Campbell should not give, Jahmyr Gibbs, but that again, that's just my thoughts. Dan Campbell doesn't give a shit what I think.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just know at ownership, like we know the ceilings of these guys.
Right.
If Dan Campbell wants to come out and beat Ben Johnson, or it's gonna pop off. Like this matchup could pop off. The weather's not bad. It's going to be like 20 and sunny. That's fine for Chicago.
I feel pretty good about Arizona, at least the passing game. Obviously, I forget about the running game. And the Rams, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. And I know you guys.
Yeah, Rich says 6 quarterbacks. That's why I'm interested to get to there because I only, outside of our matchups we talked about, and I know you have some promo reads to do, Dean, but I only have Trevor Lawrence, which is the obvious one, the cash game play. Other than that, I really don't have any other quarterbacks outside of the matchups we discussed. So Brissett, Caleb Williams, and Trevor Lawrence. I think that's my pool, like literally.
Well, yeah.
And Dak to a lesser extent.
I have a couple other names I'll throw out there and just get your thoughts, but we will segue there in just a second. But like you said, I do have to tell the people about Pick Labs. Pick Labs is the newest Fantasy Labs feature that lets you scan the best player prop and pick 'em bets in just seconds. Everything is broken down for you from edges and win rates to value. You're going to see a clean board that shows you the plays that actually stand out across sportsbook sites like Underdog, Prize Picks. And when you see something you like, Pick Labs will build the slip and send it straight to the book of your choice. For a limited time, you can get free access through a Fantasy Labs DFS sub. Visit fantasylabs.com/pricing. Use code FLEX20. That's FLEX20 for $20 off your first payments. All right, let's get to some quarterbacks. I'll let Rich lead it off because, I'm curious. Who's still on your list? You said 6 in total. We've knocked out a couple. Who's left standing?
Yeah, we did a few. We did Caleb, Jackson Dart. Obviously, there's the Trevor Lawrence one, which I think he'll be the most popular quarterback on the slate against the Titans pass funnel. I mean, Tanner McKee definitely is for the pay down guys. I mean, he had in the same spot last year, he had 19 fantasy points against the Giants. He's got a completely cushy matchup against the Commanders, who are basically like 31st. They're 31st in passing points allowed per game. They've allowed the highest touchdown rate, the highest yards per pass attempt. So they've anytime he's played, they've had confidence in him throwing. So he's kind of like the pay down guy. He's 6K on FanDuel, 4,500 on DraftKings. Think that's completely fine. And then the other guy is Bo Nix. We seen Bo Nix in the same spot last year, right? In week 18, score 33 fantasy points against the Kansas City Chiefs when they bench guys. They're playing for the number 1 seed. It seems like a spot where they're going to front run. The Chargers are going to kind of give him this game a little bit. So yeah, I'd have Bo Nix too on the board as well. So Bo Nix, Tanner McKee, Caleb Williams, Jackson Dart, Trevor Lawrence. All kind of guys I'm dancing around right now.
You mentioned McKee. Are we pairing him with? Is it naked? Are we playing Cooper?
I think both guys. I think you can play both guys. Cooper is like the obvious matchup stuff because he's played like a pure slot receiver. The Commanders are just going to like absolutely smoked by slot receivers. He had 30% of McKee's targets in the preseason too. McKee came in week 15 against the Raiders, and his first 2 passes went to Cooper. So he's in play. And then Jahan Dotson last year played 90% of the snaps and had 11 targets from McKee. So like those guys are 38 and 3,300. Like I know TJ loves those dirt cheap doubles and stuff. Like, I mean, you could play McKee with both guys like and pay him with like you could play Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs with him.
Yeah. That's the thing is like there's not. If we had CMC in the main slate, he would be like 100% owned because that's like the one that's something you can absolutely rely on as like a big play player that's going to get a full allotment. But of course, that is on Saturday. Drake May, is Drake May not in anybody's pool? Like we have the salary for it. They are incentivized to win.
I have him. I'm more confident than Daigle. He plays more, but if it is like one-sided though, that he comes out. That's because he's playing for like to lock up MVP. Yeah. So that would be a little push, but
he did actually move at sportsbooks today too to favorite over Stafford.
I feel like that's been the case for like a while, right?
I think it happened just because like now it's just a market movement and that everyone understands that Stafford may not play the entire game. And so if May even gets a first half to like clinch, then like he would naturally just play longer and win it.
They pulled him really quick last week. I thought what's interesting, like obviously the game was in hand, but they pulled him, I think, mid-third quarter, right? But they were shellacking and the game was over. And I think he had 4 or 5 touchdowns. He had a lot of touchdowns. He was on his way. They could have racked up some more if they wanted a stat pad. And then we already got reports that Achane is not practicing or is limited.
He sounds like he's not going to play.
It's also like we know with the Patriots defenders back, unless they intend to bench all their starters, even on defense, to keep everyone that's important healthy. But it's just a rough run out with Quinn Ewers, and then you have to decipher between Jalen Wright and in a last game, Ollie Gordon could be involved as well.
It's just how much does Miami push back? It's a combination of a lot of things that can go wrong. So maybe it's just a no. But I thought he was interesting at least. The other one I had on my lists, Joe Burrow. It feels like Cincinnati's going to go all out. I mean, we like Jamar Chase. I assume Burrow's going to play 4 quarters here. Is Burrow not in anybody's list here?
Not me. Jim Schwartz giving him just nothing but hell.
I believe last week, didn't also the Bengals hit like one of their lowest pass rates over expectation of the year too?
2 weeks ago they did.
2 weeks ago, okay, yeah. I would say they've somewhat tempered down. Like
I don't have a problem with anything that does. Like what you're getting out of Joe Burrow, like from a ceiling perspective, you get there. It's just that I think this is a spot where Jim Schwartz has given him enough trouble to where I'm not expecting like a full run out.
He's gonna be drawing up all those sacks for Myles Garrett. Is that what we're talking about?
I hope that Garrett does get one. I like seeing history.
I assume.
Although it is the week 18, the people will be like, "Oh, he did it in 18 games."
Burrow's gonna get that ball out so quickly to make sure he doesn't get that, like Rodgers. Although Rodgers always does that, but like these guys are way too aware that they know they're getting that ball out so fast.
It's not like giving up like a home run, is it? Like you don't want to give up.
I mean, everyone remembers who Strahan sacked. Like,
well, that one was, but no, like TJ Watt, because
that's true. Yeah,
I don't even remember the quarterback that Watt got it against because that quarterback didn't lay down.
Yeah, I think it was the moment. Yeah, I think it was how it happened more than anything. And Burrow did talk about it. He said like there's times in games where it's best to just take a sack.
Well, Burrow will take some sacks.
It certainly will.
Yeah, I'm just trying to see and Josh Allen unplayable. Trying to see who else.
No, he's gonna come out and extend his streak and get out of the game.
Sounds like James Cook's kind of going for the same thing where they might get him like 20, 30 rushing yards and then he's out of there.
Yeah. They'll know because they play at 4, right? The Bills play at 4.
And the Colts play at 1.
He's 47 yards ahead of Jonathan Taylor already.
Yeah. That doesn't seem like a spot where, and Taylor's probably not going to get a ton either because he's taking on Houston, right? So, I mean, he might be 10 behind.
That's I mean, it might just come get it. And he's 130, I think, ahead of Derrick Henry, but like you have to think that's probably it could be interesting, but there's nothing they can do about that because they play on Sunday night.
Yeah, and Henry's going to be playing 4 quarters and motivated. Unless they're behind, I guess he won't be on the field.
Henry and Lamar, yeah. I mean, AFC's open. Ravens, they got to get through Sunday night, but you never know.
Do we have any playoff takes? You're firing up some playoff takes here, Daigle?
No, they're just like so cheap though in playoff best ball. It's like, yeah, I'll take on a couple losses in my bullets early to get that edge.
Is it too late to play? I haven't dove in, and I'm thinking about diving in, but I feel like there's already some really good teams set up that I might have missed the boat. You understand what I'm asking?
There's a lot of bad teams set up.
There's a lot of dead teams too. Correct.
But I mean, the Niners and Ravens right now are actually still easy to get because everyone's scared of the first round bye for the Niners all of a sudden. But you can stack them all the way up if you want.
Yeah, interesting.
They're getting Fred Warner back too, probably in the playoffs, which that's something. Even 50% of Fred Warner is something compared to what they're rolling out right now. So they just need one defender out there. It's just one body to help them out because they've proven they can go toe-to-toe with points with any offense in the league. Now, I say that, and then we'll see what happens against the Seahawks defense without Trent Williams. It might not go well.
Any other quarterbacks we want to acknowledge?
Nah, my pool's smaller than the public.
I don't know if you need to say the salary, but like Shuck.
You don't need to say the salary. You have all the salary you'd ever want to spend. We need a 10K quarterback, actually.
Yeah.
And losing Olave doesn't make Shuck very excited.
Very worried about that, especially with 10-1 offensive player of the year. No, 100-1 offensive player. Or no, offensive rookie of the year. Yeah.
It's 10-1. I thought he's basically neck and neck right now with Ted.
No, it was for 3 weeks ago. Whenever he was playing well and the schedule was coming up, that was really easy.
Okay, and you said, Daigle, I think you're out of quarterbacks as well. So let's pivot to running backs. Who's left on the board for running backs for you?
We already talked about Bijan Robinson. Again, I kind of find it easier to play or pay up for these studs that are on eliminated and losing teams. Like not even looking at incentives. I just, the guys are all paid to play. I can't imagine they don't want to be out there just playing. So, Saints versus Falcons, I'll gladly pay up for Bijan Robinson, although the field probably will as well.
Oh, it's going to be the chalkiest deal on the slate.
I think so,
that's okay. I don't think I'm going to
salary.
But I can tack on Jahmyr Gibbs at lesser ownership too. But I don't even think it's a pivot. I just want both of them. And then take Bigsby since Dan Quinn took over play calling for the Commanders. Washington's giving up a top 2 rate of explosive runs. Their run defense has fallen apart entirely. So much so we saw a month ago whenever they played the Eagles last time, and Saquon Barkley, who struggled all year, still got there for over 120 yards from scrimmage and 2 touchdowns against them. So Tank Bigsby, if he starts for Saquon Barkley, I think has just done objectively great play on paper. And then, gosh, is that it for me outside of the pool we talked about? Reebs, who else do you have? I don't have any crazy cheapies right now because we're waiting on injuries for those.
What do you think the split will be with Bigsby and Shipley? You think he's well ahead of Shipley?
I mean, so far on the year, they've pretty much been Bigsby gets the carry, Shipley gets the passing game usage. But it's such a great spot for positive game script for the Eagles that I would imagine we see a lot of Bigsby.
And then
he's also been very good too, because he was a good player last year for the Jaguars.
There's a lot of speculation stuff, like what if Cook has no reason to run more than 8 yards or whatever, or if nothing, basically he's not going to play. Ty Johnson versus Ray Davis. Is Ray Davis the guy? Is he more of like the first down, second down guy? Do you have a lean on that? Do we care?
I do care. I care about Ray Davis, assuming we see what happens first with James Cook, but at least we have the one game sample. It hasn't worked out this year because James Cook has been healthy all this season, but the one game last year, it was all Ray Davis, 120 yards from scrimmage against the Jets, who played well over Ty Johnson, because similar to like Justice Hill, Ty Johnson strictly does one thing and he does it really well, but he's not a 20-touch workhorse ever if James Cook gets injured. Like, that's why they have Ray Davis to be the guy who replaces James Cook. I think it takes some assumption and you have to nudge the projections to get there, but I don't mind doing that. Like if the field is not doing that.
Rich, you have thoughts on either of those situations? Philadelphia, Buffalo. Of course, the Buffalo stuff is fluid, depending upon, in some ways, Jonathan Taylor. And then anywhere else you want to add as far as some running backs?
Yeah, RJ Harvey would be kind of the top guy behind Bijan Robinson in terms of guys. Like, we are pretty confident it's going to play like a full game in a spot to where the Chargers, we don't know who they're going to be sitting on defense. We don't know outside of Justin Herbert who they're resting, but we assume that if Justin Herbert is not going to be the only guy that they're taking it easy with, at least in game. So we've seen him get, 17 touches per game, probably a game where the Broncos control the game. So he'd be relatively, a guy you feel safe kind of clicking and has like the pass catching role too, to come with points. We talked about Ronnie Rivers, Daigle talked about Tank Bigsby. Who else is on here that we could talk about? We're waiting on Cowboys just to see who plays for them. That's one to keep an eye on. We got news that Isaiah Davis is going to be out, but we don't know if Breece Hall is going to play. That would be a spot where, you would like to maybe take a gamble on Breece Hall against the Bills, potentially backups. We know Daquan Jones isn't playing, but you kind of still need to pop one for him. We don't know how much he's going to play. It's just kind of one where we're still waiting for more things to open it up. But I like the idea of just paying up for like Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, RJ Harvey, then maybe mix in a cheapie if you need to. But those are the guys I think I'd rather pay up for, because wide receiver doesn't have a lot that we want to lock in at the top either, because we don't trust Puka Nacua to play. I'd rather just do it with the running backs than play guys like Michael Wilson and Jamison Williams and Luther Burden, right, at receiver.
What about Jacksonville? ETN 30 team total. I know Tootin is back. I know Tennessee's better at stopping the run, but is ETN somebody that might pop on your lineups?
Not for me personally, just because of Tootin being back.
Is Chase Brown going to keep getting there? He keeps getting there.
He does keep getting there.
I need him to get 53 yards. I know that.
What's that for?
I had a parlay for 1,000-yard rushers. He's got 53. I was hoping he was going to get more last week to tack on, but it is a nice big hit if he can get the 53 rushing yards.
Everything else got home?
Yeah, everything else is good. I need his 53.
Do you hedge? Is there a hedge you're considering?
No, I don't think so, because it was only like a $100 bet to win like 5,000. So it's like, I'm just gonna
just ride it out.
But it was CMC, DeAndre Swift, Devin Achane. There was one other guy too in it, but he's the last leg. I was hoping against Arizona because he had at the half he had 80, and I was like, I hope he gets 130. Then I only need him to get 25 or something next week. Because 53 against the Browns still feels like it's teetering on that edge of
what is that? That's probably
he did return to practice today. He did come back today.
That's got to be the number, right? I'm checking the sports book now. Is that probably what it is, around there, 53, off the top of my head?
I mean, listen, you know the worst thing that could happen is when he has 52 and gets pulled in the game. We just got to hope he gets over 53.
But yeah, I need 53. 53 problem. But some of those arbitrary markers, we know the teams will do that for guys too, like the 1,000 yards. We talked about the Eagles guys. I would bet Devontae Smith starts the game. He needs, I think, 44 yards for 1,000.
Okay.
I bet that's one where we talked about it's not necessarily an incentive, but I would bet they try to get him 44 yards and get him out of the game.
Is there any chance that Kansas City just says, like, Brashard Smith, this is your game?
Well, I mean, they would have done it already, right? Like, they would have already played Jalen Royals.
Okay. I mean, just like, what's the point of playing Kareem Hunt and Pacheco? Is this kind of my question? I mean, outside of they're paid to play football, but, see what you have in Smith, right? No, maybe.
I mean, they're playing Juju over Jalen Royals. That's still like,
yeah. What, like, I mean,
at this point, it'd be showcasing Brashad Smith for his next team next year. So no, I don't think that's going to happen.
Okay. I mean, just asking the question, and I'm trying to like figure like some sort of angles.
At least with Ray Davis and with Breece Hall questionable, Kane and Wengwu. At least with those guys, like they are the late swap position of the afternoon game. So like you can start getting pivots all over the place.
Kane and Wengwu ahead of Khalil Herbert.
Khalil Herbert was on the practice squad, right? So I guess that would mean so, but
ridiculous question. I
you're right. Yes. Welcome to Week 18, the most Week 18 question ever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just it's the path might be clear. Okay, that is also the signal I think to move on to receivers. Daigle, who's on your receivers list? Who's left?
So let's see. We probably have to toss this around. I don't have many cheapies yet. We're still waiting on injuries again, but for right now, we all are assuming that Kevin Johnson's like the most highest roster wide receiver outside of Darius Cooper, right?
Kevin Austin?
Kevin Austin, sorry,
okay,
not Kevin Johnson.
Oh no, he's not going to be super popular.
You don't think he is? Because he literally won tournaments last week. He was built into Drake Maystacks and literally took down tournaments last week.
No, I don't think he's going to be that popular. I don't think he's tracking for any popularity really either. Like anything crazy.
I'll get it.
I think he's just going to be regularly owned.
Okay, well, I like regularly owned Kevin Austin. That's good. Against the Falcons, who were still leaking massive production to wide receiver ones. Puka Nacua even got shut out in the first half last week, but then tacked on, 547, a touchdown. Before that, Evans went for 132 yards. Michael Wilson, even with Marvin Harrison Jr. on the field, 50 yards and a touchdown. So I like Kevin Austin quite a bit. Don't need to get to Tyler Shuck because we're still questioning Shuck's ceiling without Chris Olave, but Austin can carry his weight opposite of Bijan Robinson in that game. I also have Parker Washington on my list as the unique play with Trevor Lawrence. May not be unique. Maybe people chase the last 2 weeks, but we've really seen the last 2 weeks that he's come on strong. We thought it was simply a breakout against Denver because they're not targeting Pat Surtain on that side of the field. But then last week also Parker Washington emerged again over Brian Thomas. So I like tacking on Parker Washington to Trevor Lawrence stacks. Rich, you can go ahead and go. I'm trying to find some other cheap receivers here.
Yeah, I'm going to mix and match all the Jacksonville guys. I'll probably run a couple variations of Lawrence doubles between Myers, Washington, and Thomas. They all have pretty unique roles. Park Washington, the slot receiver, Jacoby Myers kind of in like that Chris Godwin, Juwan Jennings type role. He leads the team in end zone targets since he joined the team. And then Brian Thomas has like the high ADOT, big high cholesterol type of targets, averaging 18 air yards per target since Jacoby Myers joined the team. So I'll probably mix and match those guys because the Titans have been such a pass funnel and kind of giving up the bag no matter what to all receivers. And since it's a little bit messy, I'll just probably try to make a couple variations of Trevor Lawrence lineups. We talked about the Eagles guys. Super not fun click, but Jerry Jeudy.
Oh,
yep. There's no Harold Fannon's not going to play. He had 30% of the targets last week. Not a fun click at all, but 30% of targets is 30% of targets is what it is. Kind of down there. We talked about Mike Wilson, Jamison Williams, Burden. Yeah, kind of those are the guys. Diggs is relatively interesting still because anytime Diggs has had to play, he's just been really effective and really efficient. All-time scumbag, NFL scumbag Stephon Diggs, but really good at football Stephon Diggs. And anytime he's, like I said, they've got all these injuries against this Dolphins team that has just really struggled to defend the pass. So if you're playing May, Diggs is pretty clean to get to him too.
I don't like the quote. I never like the quote ownership, this early in the week, especially on week 18. But we currently have Austin, for what it's worth, 8% on DK.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, and again, do not think too much of this, but our most popular cheapie right now at 20%, which I don't think anybody mentioned him, is Lambert Smith. Is Lambert Smith somebody?
The Chargers guys. Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, I imagine they're going to play some of their starters. That you just don't know exactly how many routes you're going to get. Like the Eagles guys, like we have a pretty good idea. Like AJ Brown just won't play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then you're counting on Trey Lance versus the Denver Broncos.
But that was my argument right there. It's like even if you get 10 targets from Trey Lance, does the tree fall in the woods still?
And Denver against all these backup type quarterbacks that Broncos have faced, they've smothered like all of them. Jake Browning 125 yards, Justin Fields 45 yards, Oladukin 66 yards on Christmas. Like, I'm not expecting a huge run out of yardage to be kind of distributed among these pass catchers.
They've also faced a bunch of rushing quarterbacks. And like Jackson Dart was really the only one to have success. Marcus Mariota also reached 55 yards against them, but they do really well against mobile quarterbacks too.
And the Chargers also have to prioritize getting Keenan Allen always as incentive. So what's left for?
Plus, you saw Trey Harris. Trey Harris, I would say would probably be a better bet to play more snaps than Keandre Lambert Smith.
That's a good pivot if you go that route for sure.
But I mean, I'm not going to play any of the Chargers guys. I'll be honest with you.
We have Cooper basically projected the same as Lambert Smith. I don't think we mentioned Tesla, who's like, what is his touchdown rate? Like 40%, like something completely ridiculous. Which also says like that's more of a reception rate than how many receptions he has.
Yeah, you would need Amon-Ra not to play, and we know Amon-Ra is going to suit up. It's just you got to. And I don't even think Dan Campbell's going to do it like you guys said. I would just say internally, someone should tell Dan Campbell, like, dude, like, hey, we don't need Amon-Ra playing the whole damn game.
If Detroit could have kept Ben Johnson and let Dan Campbell go, would they have done that? Like retroactively?
I don't think so.
No. Well, that first of all, that doesn't happen in football. Like just to drop them and then promote the OC. But also Dan Campbell is they're both very good at their jobs in different ways. Like Dan Campbell is such an important culture piece. Like you have to remember Detroit went through like 2 decades of being absolute shit. Yeah. Dan Campbell's the one who single-handedly came in and like built that thing from the ground up. Like Dan Campbell's so important to that organization.
I mean, people are already talking about throwing him on, like replacing Terry Bradshaw, and just throwing him on like.
Oh no, that's crazy. Dan Campbell's awesome at his job. It's one bad year where they lost their offensive line. We knew that was going to happen.
They had a ton of injuries, overall.
The line fell apart, and that's the most overlooked thing. You don't notice it until you notice it. It's like
it is for Jared Goff, especially.
Well, the Buccaneers are experiencing something similar.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Any of these Green Bay? Is there any Green Bay receiver that we can like? They're all going to be cheap. And
I mean, you have the shower narrative because Tune was a quarterback at Houston when Matthew Golden was there. But like, you want to be playing Clayton Tune again? It's the same thing we talk about Trey Lance. Like, you want to be playing any Clayton Tune guys against Brian Flores? Like, that defense has been incredible for like the past 7 weeks.
Vikings could outscore Broncos defense this week.
Well, the Vikings are going to be the most popular defense on both sides.
They should
be.
They hopefully they are. They should be.
I think that's something I'm doing this week. I think I'm paying up for defense because you're going to have the salary.
But the Vikings aren't even expensive, right?
Yeah, they're not a full pay up, but you have the salary. You can get Denver, you can get Jacksonville, you can get Houston, and I think that'll probably be my pool. I mean, in theory, who knows? But Denver, Minnesota, Jacksonville, Houston.
The Vikings are $3K on DraftKings and 3,500 on FanDuel.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, they're gonna be what 35%. Like they're gonna be. I don't even care either. Like I'm gonna eat the chalk.
Yeah, and do we know who's quarterbacking Green Bay at this point?
Yeah, Tune is starting.
It's Clayton Tune. Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Okay.
I think they're holding off Love for the playoff game.
Yeah, and Willis is banged up,
which is most likely going to be in Chicago the first round.
Willis could only lose money, right? Like he's banked his good game, so now there's like, now he just wants to go to free agency, and things probably won't go well against Minnesota.
He's a really good story too, because Matt LaFleur has developed him really well in that system. Like you have confidence when he comes in. They changed their offense entirely for him, but he's played so well beyond that game too.
Just give me your favorite cheap nonsense receiver, Daigle. I know this stuff changes.
I think I already gave you 8%. Kevin Austin.
That's your favorite? Okay.
Yeah.
And can you see Kevin Austin and raise him, Rich? What do you got as far as?
No.
It's a mishmash.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, those guys are all there that we talked about at the bottom. The Eagles guys, Kevin Austin, Judy, those guys are all kind of 4K and under.
You don't want to say one of them's your favorites.
No.
I
mean, if the field's gonna play I'm probably gonna play McKee doubles, but if the field is gonna play like triple Cooper to Dotson, like Dotson's like a proven player, at least in the NFL to a degree. So I'll play a good amount of Dotson if we're tracking to have significant ownership on Cooper over Dotson.
So the reason why Dotson's not a target earner is because he's facing, he's up against Brown.
Yeah.
Okay, and Smith. But when he's up against Cooper and Calcaterra, he's going to be a target winner. And that's basically
how the idea.
But I'm going to play both, obviously. If I'm going to play McKee, I'm just going to play both of them. But if you're doing like an a la carte, like Warner, chasing one of those guys, if Cooper's going to be triple the ownership.
Darius Cooper.
Tarleton State, man.
Yeah. Shout out to Tarleton State.
Anytime you can play the Texan Riders, you got to do it.
And you can also play Cortland Sutton still if you want to. He's got double-digit targets.
I had him on my list. Yeah.
We talked about Bo Nix.
Oh, okay. Tight end. Who's left standing tight end wise? Rich, what do you got?
Daigle talked about Loveland. We got Juwan Johnson, who has 80 more targets than the next closest active Saint. That's going to be playing on Sunday. He already has an 18% target share on the year from Tyler Shuck. So theoretically, he might just be like their de facto wide receiver one. So he's in play. Michael Mayer is playing a ton of snaps still. We've seen any time that Michael Mayer's played, he's gotten targets. You do have a little volatility here because the Raiders have already kind of hinted they're going to play both Kenny Pickett and Aiden O'Connell, not Cam Miller, who they let go to the Dolphins this week. You
really wanted Cam Miller to be a thing.
I did want Cam Miller to play. And then we talked about Drake May, he play Hunter Henry, and then the one Ram we didn't talk about was Terrence Ferguson because he probably plays no matter what. Like if the Rams are playing Stafford, he's been getting end zone targets, and then if it's a blowout, like he probably still plays. Still does get snaps.
Parkinson sits.
So he might be like kind of no matter how the game plays out, like safe kind of play from the Ram side.
How much are you prioritizing McBride? You talked about, Rich, you talked about playing Philly doubles. You have the money for McBride. Why not just play McBride?
I haven't built lineups yet to see if I need to yet, but I want to pay for the running backs. I think that my priority is going to pay for the running backs we know instead of just trying to play like the Bigsby types. I'll just play like the really good running backs with high ceilings. And then because I think receiver is pretty clear, because if we're not going to play Puka, people can still jam in Chase if you want, but I don't think that he's a guy that I'm excited to jam in. He can always win versus anyone, but him and Denzel Ward have had some pretty decent battles. He hasn't had super spike weeks against Denzel Ward. So at his salary, I don't know if he quite gets there. I'm looking more of just doing the Michael Wilson, Burden, Cortland Sutton, Jamison Williams type thing through building out through that area.
Daigle, who's left for you?
No one. That's I'm not even kidding. I think Juwan Johnson's going to be the cash game option. But I think I'll be prioritizing Loveland and McBride and spinning it somehow.
The optimals I ran, and again, this stuff changes, but it's Juwan Johnson, Mayer, and McBride. Strange is the fourth one as far as popularity that I have. Hunter Henry also hitting the board a little bit of concern, obviously, with the potential blowout there. But are they still really thin at receiver, New England? Are they?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, if you play May, you can play Henry because I had someone who listens to the show. They DM'd me last week and they asked me a start-sit question about Drake May against the Jets. Because, everyone's hyper-focused for their fantasy championship. I get it. Everyone's panicking about weather and being benched and whatnot. He's like, what if the Patriots, what if they get benched in the third quarter? And I said, if the Patriots get benched in the third quarter, it's because Drake May has 5 touchdowns. You have to get there to get benched. And so Hunter Henry can be a part of that. So you're not worried about it if the Patriots roll. You just play into it.
All right. Anything else as far as tight ends? Or I think we're kind of sort of done with our players. I imagine so, unless Unless you miss somebody, I think we're good. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the follow Friday, and all the way through Sunday.
Hell, yeah, follow Sunday morning. I got a soccer game at 11:30 in the morning Sunday too. I know my lineup's going to get just wrecked in that last 30 minutes.
Actives and inactives drop when the whistle blows for you, basically. You're a goalie, though. You can make changes when the ball's the other side of the field.
I don't think it works like that.
Is it indoor soccer where it's a smaller field? You got to be on your toes at all time?
It is indoor. Yeah, it's a roller derby soccer pretty much. Yeah.
That's probably a bad idea then. Is there one situation that you're monitoring the most, Daigle? Like what's if you want to bust out the Gray Sports Almanac, the crystal ball, what's the one that you think can like change the slate the most that's like realistic in some way?
Lions playing time. I don't know how we figured out that more outside of like coach speak and player speak, but I think Lions playing time I'm really interested in.
Dallas, I missed the Dallas conversation. I feel like Dallas could change.
Dallas playing time too. Yeah, that's why Rich had more trepidation on playing Dak than I did because he might not play the whole game.
Yeah. All right, Rich, your favorite stack on a Friday afternoon?
Well, not doing any coach speak. I think the two biggest things are that impact the slate as it lays out right now. I'd say maybe three. One is Wan'Dale Robinson, which is crazy to say out loud, but if Wan'Dale Robinson is like actually like pivotal for the slate, I think, whether he plays or not. The Cowboys running back situation, if there's clarity, like if you just know Malik Davis is starting, I think he is probably going to be one of the more popular plays on the slate. And then I would say Blake Corum status as well. Coming into this game. Those are the three that like I'm kind of monitoring the most on Friday, just to see if like who practices and what doesn't. Favorite stack is probably the McKee doubles and just taking good players with McKee, like just loading up good players around him. Any
run back for Washington or not really?
No.
Okay, just I feel obligated to ask, but
I do think Lions Bears is the most onslaught game though. Like that's the one I feel safest about.
I like that call.
Being in on.
Daigle, you want to throw up? I'm sorry. I apologize.
I agree. Lions, Bears through the Caleb side. I still love Jahmyr Gibbs. And then Brissett doubles with Ronnie Rivers. Those are kind of the two ways I'm thinking right now.
Yeah. And Rivers, would he would be like a all down back if we lose Williams and Corum?
Rich sold me on Rivers because as he said, yes, Jarquez Hunter basically has not been used at any point all year and has been.
He hasn't played a snap. I saw someone in the chat ask about Britton Covey too, who's only played 5 offensive snaps. He's been behind both Cooper and Dotson. I imagine he plays something, but it's just like you're going off. You're just taking blind. It's just a blind bet.
Yeah, and that's a 425 game, and it is if you have any this guy or that guy or 50-50 calls, I would default to just the later player. If somebody's playing later. Give yourself some flexibility. Some news might come out at 2:00, while the 1:00 games are going. Actives and inactives, you might get something strange. But all right.
You also are allowed to reduce your play this week. I remind people always on something like this. There will be playoff contests. If you just want to fire in some single entry and do stuff, you don't have to go all out because it's the last full slate.
Or you can play all cash, right? Just all cash. I'm told this is the cash.
No, you don't want to get in the lobby. That's all Peter Overzet. he owns the Week 18 lobby.
So it's a good bit. And shout out to Pete.
It is a good beat. Pete knows what he's doing.
All right. We're going to seamlessly segue and talk about our movies. We have a double feature today because we did not get to our movie last week. That's it for football. And again, next week, Wednesday, 8:00 normal time. Talking playoffs for the next 2 weeks as well, so we're not going anywhere just yet. Bringing in TJ Zwarich, who's been producing, and you guys saw him about an hour ago or so, filling for me when my internet zapped out on me. So thank you for that, TJ. And playing injured, Rob. I know you've had a rough week. It's good seeing you. Happy to see you. Welcome to the show, Rob Coakley. How are things? Otherwise,
things are great. We're doing so well, Dean. It's not even funny.
Do you want to share? Or do you not want to share? You don't have to share, obviously. No. But
I mean, the short version is I was in the hospital, got a cellulitis in my leg, which I didn't know was a thing. So it's like a huge infection. As you guys saw, my leg was blown up quite large, still pretty swollen. And I only watched one of these movies because I didn't know it was a double feature, but I still plan to watch Red One, so I will be quiet during that portion.
I was about to say, I hope you picked the right one.
You don't have to, I would not.
There is a wrong choice in that decision.
Well, I have my thoughts about Knives Out, so.
All right, yeah. Well, let's talk about Red One first. Red One assigned to us from Hribar a couple weeks ago. We put that in layaway because we were in shambles last week too. We kind of scuffled to the end here. I'll give you the. Do we want the Rotten Tomatoes summary? Or do we want the IMDb summary? I got Rotten Tomatoes up. After Santa Claus, codenamed Red One, is kidnapped, the North Pole's head of security, Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, must team up with the world's most infamous bounty hunter, Chris Evans, in a globe-trotting, action-packed mission to save Christmas. Rich, you were determined to get a Christmas movie on the board, so there you go. Red One, I'll let you open it up since this is the movie you chose. I believe none of us, I think we all went in cold on Red One. How did you feel about Red One?
I felt absolutely nothing. Felt hollow and empty afterwards. This is like the epitome of like what's wrong with the movie industry, right? Like someone came into someone's office and was like, "Hey, I got an idea. We're gonna make a Christmas movie. It's gonna have The Rock. We'll get Chris Evans in it." Someone's like, "Say less." Someone's just like, "Say less." It will make that. It didn't try to be good at all, and it wasn't even bad. I actually wish this movie was worse and swerved into being bad. But it's just like the Wire skit. The this is a 40-degree day, right? Like it's just a 50-mile-per-hour fastball. Doesn't try to be anything better or worse than what it is, and it's kind of epitome of actually what's wrong and why movies no one goes to see at the theater anymore.
Co-starring Bonnie Hunt, Nick Kroll, Lucy Liu.
Couldn't you see this on Entourage? Like Pippin, like talking about this?
Yes. Yeah.
Listen to that cast you're reading out loud too. Like it even feels like that. You get the production, you see the money put into it, the cast, you see the money it takes to hire all those people.
This movie definitely lost money, right?
Oh, had to. Millions had to.
It was mostly seen on Amazon, and I think it got a release. I'm not certain, but we can check that on the old Box Office Mojo. But on that topic, I accidentally erased all my notes for the movies, so I don't have my notes. And like it was like Men in Black. After I saw this movie, 8 minutes later, I forgot everything I watched.
Absolutely.
I don't remember anything. But the one thing the whole time I was angry, and you mentioned it, Rich, the budget, or I think Daigle mentioned it. I was like, how much money did they spend for this nonsense? And $250 million. And all I can think the whole time I was angry. I'm like, how many like legitimately decent A24 movies could we have got? Instead of like, we took $250 million and just gave it to A24 and say, they could have made like 20 good movies for us. Instead, we got this slop. Yeah. TJ, how did you feel about Red One? You're always the positive one, so maybe you liked it.
I do have a positive note, but it's because my expectations were so low. And so I will say, like, it wasn't actually like a big financial bust. It made $190 million at the box office. And so
really
it didn't quite break even there. But when you consider the amount of people who watched it on Prime and things like that, it probably was fine. I watched this when it came out, and I had already had a lot of friends and just like critic friends who had seen it already and who had described it as like just awful, the worst thing ever. It was terrible. And so I went in with just the lowest of expectations, and I went, okay, there were parts that were fun. Like it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. It was just like an action-y Christmas movie, and I'll watch anything with Chris Evans in it. And so it was a positive surprise based on how bad I thought it was going to be, but it obviously wasn't anything good or special or anything. Like it was just kind of fine. There were parts that were fun, and I liked the cast. And so it was good enough that I went, hey, I kind of had some fun. And because my expectations were so low, I actually didn't have that bad of a time.
Yeah, I'm with Rich where like I wanted it to be better because then it could have been a good movie, or worse, then it could be potentially fun because it's so bad. Like, Troll 2, that kind of thing. But it was just in the middle where it's just like whatever. It's like it wasn't horrendous. Did it bother anybody that Santa wasn't fat? Did that bother anybody? Do we need a fat Santa? We're all good with that. Skinny JK, ripped
JK Dobbins.
70-year-old JK Simmons, like
JK Dobbins.
Or JK Dobbins, JK Simmons. Yeah, JK Dobbins.
I mean, that would have took the movie up a notch if Santa was JK Dobbins.
I will say that I enjoyed watching Red One more than I enjoyed watching Troll 2. However, I have not thought of Red One for a single minute after watching it.
No.
And I've thought about Troll 2 every second of my life since that movie concluded.
Well, every time you go to the bathroom now, right? You said that sign's hanging up in your bathroom.
Exactly.
Yeah, see, I've loved the arc that this has taken in TJ's life, that this movie has taken.
I hated every second of it. I wanted to claw my eyes out, rip my ears off, and it has taken over my life ever since.
I just wanted to add that J.K. Dobbins couldn't be Santa because he's never delivered in December.
Oh. Rob, hearing this conversation, are you sure you want to fire up Red One? Are you going to circle back and hit Red One, or
I'll still watch it because I am a man of integrity, and it was given to me to watch, so I will try to watch it this weekend. But it just sounds exactly like what I thought it was.
That Santa movie now.
What was that?
I can't stop thinking about a Derrick Henry as Santa movie now because you brought up delivering in December, and now I just want when Derrick Henry retires to have a Marshawn Lynch-esque post career and have him as be Santa in a movie.
Also, the execution of how they actually go through Christmas at the end of this movie, I feel like is not sustainable. Like after like 8 houses, like he would just be dead.
That's the least realistic part of this movie for you.
It was.
Is it a lot of like just green and blue screen, like background garbage?
No, there's a lot of. I mean, there is a good amount of that, obviously, because you get that. But there is a lot of just like Chris Evans and The Rock, like on the road type thing.
Gotcha.
It's like a bad action movie as well. Like there's snowmen fighting on the beach. It's just so cliche. It's
Nick Kroll in an absolute wild casting.
Which, by the way, great casting though, because he played his part really well.
I thought he was like a bright spot in this movie. Really a bright spot.
I thought he did great given the script he was handed.
Not enough of them, if I had a complaint. Not enough.
Yeah, the villain in this is forgettable, right? Like it's just like the whole plot.
Santa's brother is evil, and you're not going to believe this, Rob, but he gets in a slap fight with The Rock, and it's not as fun as I make it sound. That seems
also
like it'd be
Tormund
awesome.
From Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Mm.
They spend a lot of money on trying to make this a good idea, but it's just big and empty. It's just like it's like an ornament that, just a classic ball. It's just big and it breaks easily and it's empty. It's nothing.
Do we want to play the Rotten Tomatoes game, the IMDb game? Anything else we want to say about Red One?
No.
Watch Elf.
Yeah.
Watch Wonderful Life.
Watch Die Hard.
How Grinch Stole Christmas.
Watch Eyes Wide Shut. All right.
Krampus
is in this too.
Krampus is in this movie, Rob.
I don't know if it's the Krampus you're aware of.
Now I'm upset.
Okay. We're going to guess what the Rotten Tomatoes score is first. Rich, you're going to go. Give me the I want the critics first.
Oh God. Yeah, this is gonna be tough because I feel like this is right on that line, right? Like where it could be like, to me, like if you were to grade this, it's like a 5 out of 10 movie, right? Like it's just like I said, it's just exists. So I'll say this probably I think I remember this getting kind of panned though. Getting kind of drugged down. So I'll say that the critics are much lower. So I'll say like 40% critics and then like 65% audience.
There are 5,000 verified ratings from the audience, 186 critics. I should have gave you that numbers first, but that's the sample size. Daigle, what do you got?
Gosh. Critics are, what'd you say, Rich?
I said 40% critics, 65% audience.
I don't want to always every week play the Price is Right game. So I was going to go 49 critics, which is too high. And then audience, I don't know. There's some kids that probably like this crap. So 53.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Are kids on Rotten Tomatoes though?
No, but parents are, and they see their kids smile and they're like, this is garbage, but he liked it. So whatever.
Rob, do you want to play just based on the conversation?
You're going to hate this movie, Rob.
He would hate it.
Well, I will still watch it. Let's go. Critics is 42% available.
Yeah.
Give me 42. Give me 61 audience.
TJ, close it out.
I remember everyone that was writing a review for this just absolutely hating it. And so I'm going to go real low. I'm going to say, and I think the audience is going to be higher just because it's The Rock, it's Chris Evans. I just think it's going to be good enough to get a thumbs up from most just regular audience viewers who aren't thinking of it as like a breaking down a movie, but are just thinking of it as like I watched this on Christmas. It was fine. And so I'm going to go 30% critics, 80% audience.
Well, TJ, you nailed the critics. 30% critics. So shout out to you. The audience, a big discrepancy. 89% of the audience gave us a thumb up.
God,
a lot of kids logging in.
Abolish Rotten Tomatoes. We gotta just get rid of this.
It's huge on Rotten Tomatoes.
89 is wild.
It's a ridiculous number.
That's the worst score we've had all year, by far.
TJ, set the bar for IMDb 1 through 10.
6. 5.8.
Rob?
5.3.
Daigle?
5-1.
Rich?
I would say this is the most 5 out of 10 movie that you ever existed.
It's a 6.2. 6.2? Get out of town. But that's what it is. It's a 6.2 on the IMDb scale. Let's give it a rating. Daigle, you got a wrestler for me?
For those who stayed up late on Saturday nights and watched ECW like I did growing up, they do remember Balls Mahoney. What they don't remember, though, because Balls Mahoney is rememberable, much like The Rock, they don't remember that previously he did have a stint in WWF where he showed up as Santa, and the $1 Million Man then showed up and said everyone has a price, including Santa, who then went heel and started robbing presents and turned his name to Xanta Claus with an X. So this movie, which is not rememberable, is Xanta Claus.
And he had black trim instead of white.
Shout out to Sandman and Rob Van Dam.
Yeah. Just Incredible was my favorite, but yeah.
Justin
Incredible. Yes. Mm-hmm. He's not the coolest. He's not the best. He's just incredible.
Yeah.
That was his tagline?
That was absolutely his tagline. Yeah.
Don't look into how his life's going now.
Rob, do we approve of this wrestler?
I mean, it seems fitting based on what I've heard. So I was great. I was happy with the poll that Daigle got there. I fist pumped because I knew where he was going.
TJ, you have a superhero?
If you have all the power in the world and the ability to go to every single house on the planet over the span of a night, and all you're using with that power is just to drop off a couple gifts on one day out of the entire year, it's kind of wasteful, as is this massive budget, this wild cast, everything they put into this movie just to give us nothing. And so this movie is the Omega level mutant in the Marvel universe, Santa Claus.
Okay. TJ, is the one thing TJ hates Christmas? Because that's interesting.
I love Christmas. I just feel like if you're an
we found the one thing.
If you're one of the 10 most powerful mutants on the planet, you should be doing more than a little present dropping off one day out of the year.
He's a saint, TJ. He's not a mutant.
He is in the Marvel universe.
This is where I Google Omega level mutants. I've never heard of these guys. Or is that one person? Or is that a team?
It's the category of mutant that is like the highest tier and essentially means there's no limit to their powers.
Is that the Cowboys of Moo Mesa?
Jean Grey, Legion, Iceman. Is this a team? Or am I looking at the wrong
Iceman?
Team?
Iceman is technically an Omega level.
Oh, get the.
Is that an insult to Iceman, or is it he doesn't?
I think this is it's Iceman probably shouldn't be on that tier, but it was one of those things that as they were writing it, they kind of realized, well, everybody has water in their bodies. There's hints of water everywhere in the air, and so they kind of wrote them into a point of
we got to touch grass sometimes.
They just included them in it.
We just got to touch grass sometimes, and I love comic book stuff, but too much.
That's like a heavily criticized thing that Iceman's at that level, because it's like you got Storm, you got Jean Grey, you got all the most powerful ones, then it's just freaking Iceman.
Vulcan, Franklin Richards.
Yeah, he's technically not considered a mutant anymore.
Yeah. Franklin Richards is like, he's like now gonna be like a big thing in this next wave.
He's good for my dynasty league. I gotta draft him.
This next wave of Marvel.
You make a joke about that, Dean, but I'm actually in a league where you draft comic book characters. And you get points based on like their appearances in media, their appearances in comics, things like that.
I would say I'm shocked, but alas.
I rate 1 out of 100, and I did not like this. Again, I was upset. Take this money, just put it to good use. There's a lot of good movies.
I was upset.
Well, I just the delegation of salary. If it's just like in DFS, paying up for Puka Nacua is not going to play this week. Basically, well, maybe he does, maybe doesn't. I don't know.
They do not live in the world of a salary cap.
No,
they do not.
This was a Black Friday game, is what it was. It's like we're putting all our money into Netflix. Kay Adams is hosting this thing, and it's 6-3, and no one gives a shit.
I'm going to give it 25 out of 100. I really did not enjoy this. All right, let's move along to our. Oh no, Rich, tight end.
Yeah, tight end. I actually don't think this movie's terrible. I think it just exists. Never really paid off to what was invested into it. So with it being a kind of Christmas theme too, I think this is a Kyle Rudolph.
Ah, there it is.
The one time I would have guessed right on Rich's tight end.
I do not foresee TJ's wife getting him an Etsy wooden sign that says Naughty List Level 4 anytime soon.
No.
What was the video game? Vampire Hunters 4?
Yeah, Vampire Hunters, which was I thought was a great meta commentary, and just not like where we are like in the video game industry, which is finally feels like that's breaking. But that's like it almost is an internal self jab too, because like this is like how people like were making movies. Like this is what's happened. The IP wave and the Marvel occasion. I think it's what happened to the music movie industry. Like this is adjacent to that.
Second movie is in the Knives Out world. I picked this one, Wake Up Dead Man, currently playing on Netflix. The summary: Detective Benoit Blanc teams up with an earnest young priest to investigate a perfectly impossible crime at a small town church with a dark history. And we talked about cast in the previous movie. This one, man, loaded. Glenn Close, Josh Brolin, Daniel Craig, Josh O'Connor, I guess the star, if you're going to pick a star. Evan Craig, I suppose, co-stars. Jeffrey Wright was in this. Thomas Hayden Church. Mila Kunis. We got a Mila Kunis appearance.
Very odd casting, this Mila Kunis role.
Yeah, that was weird.
I feel like we don't see her very often.
I can't remember who the original first choice for that role was, but I remember she was.
It couldn't have been her.
They had somebody else in that spot, and then they ended up passing for scheduling difference. I don't remember who it was.
I like seeing Mila Kunis. It's good to, and she was she wasn't in it too much. She was in it.
No, I just didn't. I just wouldn't have thought like small town deputy.
Yeah.
Mila Kunis.
And she didn't really bring anything to this film. I feel like anyone could have played that
I think
role.
everyone was just like, oh, there's Mila Kunis.
Well, that's a recurring role in this movie.
I was shocked. I was like, oh, I didn't realize she was still doing movies.
It was Laura Dern.
She did Luckiest Girl Alive a couple years ago. That was supposed to be Laura Dern. Okay, that's an interesting pivot. Okay, Laura Dern's not available. Call Mila Kunis.
Yeah, that's
oh my gosh. On this note, speaking of Troll 2, I went on a deep dive into the How Did This Get Made podcast because Adam Scott is one of my favorite actors, and he was on the Troll 2 How Did This Get Made podcast. And I love the Fast and the Furious movies. And he was the guest for every single one of their breakdowns of each of the Fast and the Furious movies, except for like a couple at the end. He was filming Severance, so they brought in Seth Rogen. But they do like research for these movies, and they were breaking down like the feud between The Rock and Vin Diesel, and it's just hilarious how childish both of those guys are. But one of the things they brought up was in Fast and the Furious. Are we all familiar with Kurt Russell's character, Mr. Nobody?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Russell was actually the fourth choice for that role. And the first person they asked who turned it down seems like a reasonable pivot off of Kurt Russell. It's just in the middle that it gets wonky. Their first choice was Denzel Washington. Denzel Washington said no. Makes sense. Who do they pivot to after Denzel Washington?
Hulk Hogan.
Johnny Knoxville.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Rich, you got one?
No.
Taylor Lautner.
Oh, our guy.
Twilight and
Hell yeah.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl and Cheaper by the Dozen too. Taylor Lautner was second choice. He said no. Their third choice, Halle Berry.
Halle Berry
says no. Fourth and final choice, Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell says yes. At this point, when Kurt Russell says yes, they decide to totally try and rewrite their script and make him Paul Walker's dad in these movies, and that was going to be a big reveal, but then Paul Walker died, and so they had to pivot on that one again. But shout out to my Fast and the Furious fans, and I think that was a hilarious casting choices they went through for that.
They're not going to get it done in time, but they do have a real opportunity to just drop X2 on the same day that Dune and Avengers comes out and just make it a triple header for everybody. Like there's some kind of Venn diagram where all three of you want all three of these movies, and that's me and TJ. We want all three of those movies.
Rob, it sounded like you had something to say as far as this, and you didn't really have much to say last movie because you didn't get to see it, so I'll let you open it up. Just out of curiosity, I should ask you for anything. You guys have all seen Knives Out and Glass Onion. Have you mostly liked it, disliked it? Any thoughts as far as the previous movies? Do we like the series on a whole, Rob?
I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one. I thought the first one was fine. Like, it's a fine movie. I think it's a bad detective movie and probably just a bad detective series. I can't rate the second one overall. But I don't think that... I think, like, when you watch a detective movie, right? Like, the whole point is you want to try to solve the case, right?
Sure.
And you want to be given clues that would allow you to solve the case, even if they're vague or whatever. And from the two that I've seen, which is the first one and this one, I don't think they ever give you the proper clues to do that. I think everything becomes more retrospective towards the end of it rather than giving you the actual clues. So I think, like, as a detective movie, they don't work. I don't think they're bad movies overall. I'll let other people give their thoughts on that, though.
I love the first one, but I also don't think I watched many detective movies. And so for what it was, I thought it was unique. And thus I enjoyed it, and it was fun. It was very light and playful. Second one, didn't care for too much. I also just think the magic is running out for me with this type of film and these series. Now that you go into every one, like Rob said, like watching it really closely to try and guess it, just for them to like throw in some kind of odd finish to it. And so, yeah, that's just where I stand with the Knives Out series now.
Rich?
Yeah, pretty similar to those guys. I enjoy the movies for what they are. I think that they are weaker detective movies. They even make fun of it in this one where they talk about the Scooby-Doo ending. That, like Rob says, like they even do things like, well, we didn't give you anything. We just tell you like this happened, this happened, this happened, instead of like laying the breadcrumbs for you to kind of get there. So this one I thought that had the weakest ensemble in terms of fun, but the two of the stronger performances from Josh Brolin and Glenn Close. I thought Josh Connor was really good too. I think he had the best scene in the movie, which was the phone call scene with Luis.
So
yeah, that was one of the better scenes I think I've seen in a movie. But they really just like lost the Benoit Blanc character in this movie. Like he doesn't even pop up for like an hour in this movie.
40 minutes is his first line. I stopped it on the rewatch. My first watch was in theaters, but my sisters-in-law came over like a couple days after Christmas, and we had a movie marathon, and this was one of them because they hadn't seen it, and it worked perfect because I wanted to rewatch it for this, and I clocked it and like paused and checked the timestamp, and it was 40 minutes when he has his first line in the movie.
He's also like he's just here because it's like his like reason for being here. It's like not even good compared to the first two movies either. It's just like they're like, oh, I guess we'll get with Benoit Blanc in here. But I was at least interested. I wonder if this one has. You said you watched it again. I was curious because I think the ensemble is not as fun here, and like the whodunit part is like the weakest of the three. If it has like a lot of rewatch value,
they're wasted, right? Like it feels like a lot of this cast. Like you said, Josh Brolin, incredible. Glenn Close is really good. I think Kerry Washington's actually good in this as well. But
she doesn't have a lot to do.
She doesn't have enough to do. But like, why is Jeremy Renner in this?
Renner is a waste in this movie.
Like an absolute waste in this movie.
And he's not even trying. Like he's a
waste of a guy.
Was this after his accident? Do we know?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the timing it has to be.
And
Okay.
you're wasting Jeffrey Wright. Like
Jeffrey Wright needed to be in this movie more.
Yeah, like you just it's just like if you have Jeffrey Wright, use him. Right? Like or don't use him for this if you're gonna do another Knives Out, like he's much stronger.
Well, how do you use him though? He's the guy that like tells him to go away and then tells O'Connor.
But that's my point is hire Rich to do that job. Like who like no one of importance needed that role. So
Yeah.
like it just feels like half the cast is wasted in this movie. Thomas Hayden Church. What do we do? Like no one's even brought him up because he was just like, for lack of a better term, a ghost in this movie who doesn't do anything of overly important. And it's just like, are we just putting names on screen to have names on screen? And that's sort of what it feels like to me on this.
Well, it's kind of like Ocean's 11. Kind of like the way that's progresses, just getting people in there, getting names in there, and sort of like White Lotus. Like it's always like here's an ensemble cast. It's like White Lotus, but it's the same sort of comfort show now, comfort movie at this point. It doesn't sound like you guys like this one as much as the first two.
I was into it. I'm curious because like TJ watched it again. My first viewing was like, oh, I liked it. I was into it. I got the reveal, but I feel like watching it again, it would have more diminishing returns than the first two.
TJ?
I think this was a better rewatch than either of the first two, actually. And I think because of it was the least compelling mystery, because like Rob said, I do think from like a detective movie perspective, when watching it again, I really wanted to see if when they do that picture thing and he holds up the picture and brings it down, can you actually spot that when you're watching it if you're looking for it? And barely. It is so hard to see, even if you pause the screen. It's really not something you can pick up on as a viewer. And I did find the mystery aspect the weakest. On one hand, I totally agree that the ensemble aspect felt a little wasted because these were such good actors in the roles, but it didn't feel like a waste to me because I think Josh O'Connor is the best character and the best performance of any of the Knives Out movies so far. Like, I was just so encapsulated by what he was doing. I think I was more interested in his journey of how he wanted to handle each of these situations with compromising his faith versus his inner fire to fight back for things. And I just found that part really compelling. And so when they leaned more into it and less into the mystery, I actually was really bought in for that. And so I think from a mystery perspective, it was probably my second favorite behind, and just like pure raw enjoyment. I think it might be my second favorite behind the original one, with Glass Onion a pretty distant third. But I think this was my favorite movie of the three. Like, not counting it as like a murder mystery specifically, but just like a movie. I think this was my favorite of the three. And Brolin was great. Kerry Washington was great. But specifically for me, Josh O'Connor, I just thought like this was one of my favorite performances of the year, I think.
They have a fun spoiler just in the title. I like that, like retroactively. Got kind of a spoiler right there in the title. And the other thing you were talking about, Rob, how you can't really figure it out. And I'm not saying I figured this out, but I did see a thing where they did have the weapon. Actually, you could see the weapon was kind of like sewed into, or I don't know if sewed into, but like hidden into the clothes of Josh Brolin. Like, as you could see it like in the red, but like somebody zoomed in on it. It's like it's there, but like you can't see it. And you can also hear the flask drop. You can hear the flask drop, and you can hear the flask getting, like, when the door is like pushed in, the flask getting hit again. But you don't hear that. You don't know what to do with that. Even if you can hear a flask, it's like, okay, what is that?
But my problem with the knife, though, if we're just gonna like analyze this,
Yeah.
You have somebody that is recording every sermon in the crowd. As he walks back, shouldn't one of the key points that they brought up was seeing that sewn into his back already, because they have that camera angle from Cy or Cyrus or whatever they called the kid in the crowd. Shouldn't that have been a key point? Because that's never even addressed. We're doing things with cameras, but this dude is recording every sermon, everything. He would have that, and that angle would be something that you would see as he got off the pulpit and walked to that room. So like, why are we not showing that? Why is that an oversight? in something that's supposed to be so smart. And I'm again, I think it's a good movie, but like,
Yeah.
we're doing detective stuff here. Like, make it have some more detective things in it, as what I guess I
The
want.
theme with all three of the movies, and it's something that from a mystery standpoint, I don't love, but I'm still of the opinion that like I would love for Rian Johnson to give us another one of these every couple of years with a new cast and just do them forever because they're fun. People like them. Why not? But all three of these movies so far, I think if you watch the first 20 minutes and go, who is the most, I'm going to ignore everything the rest of the movie tells me. Who is the most obvious and likely person to have committed this murder?
Yeah.
It's that person in all three movies.
If they make 100 of these, I'll watch all 100. TJ, on your points,
Yeah.
I'll watch every single one of them. I love this kind of stuff. This genre definitely hits for me. But you said you saw it a second time. Did you even think to look, TJ, for the knife, or no? You didn't spot it, I assume. Second time around.
No, not for that specific thing. That was just kind of, I felt like, okay, I know that's there. I don't need to look around for it. But I did spend the second time a lot more trying to be like, what are crumbs I didn't notice the first time?
Do you have any you can recall?
That flask noise was a big one of like just hearing it the second time. And then I just really tried to zone in on the picture. And if you focus, you pause, you can see that there is a second lamp that has a thing on it. There is a secondary little devil head, but especially when he starts talking about like, I didn't even like the devil. I didn't even want this. It kind of gives you a clue to like zone in a little bit more on that specific type of imagery, but it's still very much, there was a red herring that I thought I was so sure was going to come back up and be how this mystery was solved. And when they talk about the tomb door, what's the specific name of the tomb door that only opens on the one side? The Lazarus door. I thought for sure there was one of those in the church as well, of like, that's how somebody could get in from one side, but you couldn't open it from the other. It was like a only openable on one side door. I thought for sure that was going to be how somebody got in and out, but I didn't. It just kind of felt like, again, it's, if you just think what's the most obvious thing, well, the doctor is the only one who went in there immediately afterwards. I guess he's probably the one who had to stab him. That is the thing. And it's almost like each of these movies are going, the most obvious outcome is what it is, but we're going to, instead of giving you a sneaky outcome and leaving you breadcrumbs to it to see if you can pick up on it, it's more, we're going to give you an obvious outcome and spend the rest of the movie trying to convince you why it's not that.
Yeah. You guys said like Blanc didn't show up to like 40 minutes in the movie. Did this have to be like a Knives Out movie? It could have just been like you wouldn't think.
Yeah.
It looks like they kind of crowbarred him in there. Like he didn't necessarily have to be here. It didn't have to be Blanc. It could have just been like a regular independent movie, independent of that world. But yeah,
I do like his character, but yeah,
it's a good character. And again,
he might like his character too much sometimes, but
I mean, he has to be cool all the time. He doesn't get to just be absolute goofball. So let him run with it.
This was only a Knives Out movie because Rian Johnson was under contract and he had an idea to do like a movie based on spirituality and faith. Like that's kind of what it comes down to, I think.
Rich, thoughts?
Yeah, shared them all. That's it, man.
One more point I wanted to make that I thought was really incredible with this movie is the way they did storytelling with the lighting. I thought like there's one big scene where they do it like I think really, really in your face with Benoit Blanc's telling a story of what he thinks happened, and it's really dark. And you can see through the stained glass window, there's just like the smallest vein of light peeking in. And then as Josh O'Connor starts talking about his faith and believing in people, and he actually kind of like inspires Benoit Blanc a little bit. It's beaming down through the sun is beaming down through the stained glass window onto him. That's kind of the most obvious in your face one, but they do it throughout the movie in really cool ways where they'll just beam light in or just like have the camera focus to where the sun is based on specific conversations, and it's gets lighter or darker based on what they're talking about, and it's really cool.
All right, Rotten Tomatoes, boys. Rotten Tomatoes game. I'm gonna have.
Did Daigle give all his thoughts on this movie?
Oh, Daigle, go ahead.
Yeah, I think everyone summed it up for me pretty much. That I think this is I like TJ's way to put it, that it's the best film, but in terms of detective movie in the entire series, like the story, the actual plot may be the worst, but yeah, I think it's okay. Again, I enjoyed it far less than the first one, which I think is the best one.
Last two quick points for me. I think the cinematography 90% of the time is really well done. I think the other 10% of the time they try to do like this Wes Anderson thing that like just doesn't work for this movie, in my opinion. Like just certain shots where you're like, are you trying to Wes Anderson? Like literally what I was thinking on like 2 or 3 of the shots in the movie. And the last thing, did you guys catch the Joseph Gordon-Levitt?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that he did every Rian Johnson movie, but he was the baseball announcer in this one.
Yeah.
Who was at the plate for the Cubs? I don't remember now. Do we know?
I don't remember either.
I don't recall. It was real footage, though.
I want to say maybe Carson Kelly.
Okay.
I feel like I remember hearing Carson Kelly.
I'm not sure. It might have been. Yeah. Shout out to Joseph. I was doing the cast. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt, not seen, but heard. Anything else, or shall we knock out Rotten Tomatoes?
We can Rotten Tomatoes it up.
Josh Brolin just does whatever the hell he wants now, right? He has the resume over the last decade to where he just picks whatever role he wants.
Yeah, he was awesome in Weapons too.
He was awesome in Weapons, yeah.
He has some great monologues though in this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. No Country for Old Men. Is that the first movie we think of with Brolin? Goonies?
That's the one that comes to my mind.
Oh, Goonies is definitely the first.
Yeah.
Man, I haven't seen Goonies in so long. I forget. I even forget he was in it.
Goonies
Hollow
is
Man.
So good.
Hollow Man? Didn't know. Was he the villain in Hollow? I remember Kevin Bacon.
Hollow Man just sticks out, especially it's like a special place in my heart because like we had like a younger friend who like his mom was like we're religious. Anytime we went out like did something, he kept saying like he was going to see Hollow Man, and she's like, "Oh, you guys must really like that movie. You're going to see Hollow Man." Yeah, like every time you go, so it sticks out.
I'm always curious when IMDb, you go to IMDb, like they'll give you like the 4 movies they're known for, and it's always sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it doesn't. The 4 movies he's known for, according to IMDb.
I guess.
Yeah, go ahead.
No Country,
Yep.
Infinity War,
Yep.
Endgame.
Yep. I don't think you're going to get the last.
I would just call those one movie too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they might have this one up just because it's new, but if not, then I'm gonna say Dune.
No, the last one, the director is having a big year this year. I'll tell you that. And it's my least favorite movie from this director who I love.
What director's having a big year?
Is it
Paul
PGA?
Thomas? Yeah, but that movie lost money. We're not going to go there, but that movie lost money.
It's going to make money after the Oscars, I'm sure.
What is it?
Inherent Vice. He's in Inherent Vice is what he's known for.
One bad after another. Got it.
Is the Paul Thomas Anderson movie that he's in. But okay, let's do the RT. TJ, we're going to go reverse order. TJ, Rotten Tomatoes, what do you got?
I'll go 90 critics, 95 audience.
Oof. Rob.
I'll go 84 critics and I'll go 98 audience.
98. Daigle?
98.
98's a hot guess, yeah.
Well, shit, we just heard Red 1 was 80.
Yeah, Red 1 just got 130. What do you want from me?
TJ, you said 94?
90 audience, 90 critics, 95 audience.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna go. I mean, audience love this series though. I'll still say 92 audience, critics 86.
Rich?
Yeah, I have a hard time seeing this being like a thumbs down for many. So what's left in the 90s for audience or for critics? What do we have? Everyone's in the 90s,
92,
right?
94, 98.
So I guess 95 is in the middle of those. And then so I'll just do 95 both. 95 both.
316 reviewers, 92% from the critics, 1,000 plus verified ratings on the popcorn meter, 93%. So, yeah, you guys are on it. Both are in the 90s for sure. IMDb 1 through 10. Rich.
And Red One was what?
89, right?
Yeah,
So
ridiculous.
they're basically the same movie.
By this logic, yes. This is
By
why
the
this.
audience metric of Rotten Tomatoes. Yeah.
Yeah. IMDb, this is lower, right? I'll say 7.5.
Daigle?
Yeah. I'll still go 7-8. I don't
Rob?
want to go lower than 7. I don't think for this movie.
Yeah, it is newer too. 7.3.
TJ.
7.4.
You guys, yeah. Oh, yeah. TJ got it. You're dancing all around it. It is 7.4. 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb, which is a pretty strong number. Pretty good number for IMDb. Because their grading scale is kind of tough. Okay.
It'll go down though.
Yeah. I bet it hangs around like 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
What are the other ones at IMDb?
I'll call them up as I throw it to Rob. Rob, give me a rating.
It's a fine movie. There's some really good performances in it. Not a good detective story. I guess that's just we have evidence that that's not what these movies are going to be, which is what I think I want them to be. So I guess that's on me more than anything. But I'll just give it a 3-2.
Glass Onion 7.1, and I'm pulling up Knives Out right now as we speak. So lower is Glass Onion, and Knives Out.
That makes sense.
Knives Out
the strongest. 7.9. Yeah. First of the series.
Yeah.
This will probably end up like a 7.3 or probably like in there.
I think it'll stay above Glass Onion though. I was kind
Yeah.
of surprised Glass Onion wasn't in like 6.9 or something.
Mm-hmm.
TJ, you got a superhero?
I do too. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. Not in the top tier, but kind of in my tier 2 of top movies I've seen this
So
year.
not Iceman.
So it's not in an Iceman, it's not hitting my Iceman or Spider-Man tier of my favorite types of heroes, but in my next tier of guys that I really like, not the favorites, but I still really like, and it fits the theme of this movie with the intense Catholicism throughout. I'm going with Matt Murdock, Daredevil.
Daredevil. I've heard of him. I don't have to Google Daredevil. That was Ben Affleck, right?
Hell yeah. That's what we should watch.
TJ, it's never too. You got to assign us a movie. It's never too late.
I don't know if you can call it Ben Affleck at this point, where somebody else is taking over that role. But
You Daredevil, you
Ben
Ben Affleck.
Speaking of that universe, is Spider-Verse coming out this year?
No.
Damn it. Okay.
It's probably gonna be like 2028.
Rich, tight end.
I'm gonna break format and not do a tight end, a special non-tight end review here. I think this has to be 2025 Phillip Rivers. Wake Up Dead Man.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable. Like we enjoyed it for the ride that it gave us. Was it particularly amazing? No, but like we liked it enough. So I had to break a tendency here and do one Phillip Rivers score for 2025 Phillip Rivers to honor his 3-game pilgrimage back to the NFL.
You could look at it as an homage, or you can look at it as 2026, you do quarterbacks instead of tight ends. The world is your oyster over the next 7 days to choose.
I might have to. We're running out of tight ends. I don't know if anyone's ever created the Pick Six Wikipedia page for us and let us know exactly what wrestlers, superheroes, and tight ends were utilized.
You can have some real fun with quarterbacks on this.
I'm giving it a 77 out of 100. I like this a good bit. I enjoyed it. Keep making these movies. I'll watch every single one of them. Daigle, we need a wrestler.
The most infamous, popular mystery of the Attitude Era in wrestling was when 28-year-old Mark Henry married 77-year-old Mae Young, and they had a baby together. She was pregnant for the storyline. And so the whole time for like 3 months, everyone was like, wow, like, what's the baby? And then it leads up to Monday Night Raw, where they cut to them in the hospital, and Mae Young gives birth infamously to a prosthetic hand. And I feel like the mystery was so worth it, like with this movie, but the ending somewhat flopped. And so I think this movie is Mae Young.
So it's a better payoff than the gobbledygooker.
Not the gobbledygooker.
I thought it was going to be the hand.
It could be the prosthetic hand that Mae Young gave birth to as well. But that's larger in the cell that the pick 6 treasurer is keeping.
I appreciate you not going with the obvious Undertaker.
No, this is an Undertaker.
No, Rob would get genuinely upset if I gave this Undertaker.
I know. I wanted to use Tampa Bay Gronk and couldn't. It just didn't fit. And then I couldn't use Raiders Jason Witten because it was better than Raiders Jason Witten.
Yep, too bad.
Trying to do the dead man resurrection.
Jimmy Graham.
Jimmy Graham coming back. Saints Jimmy Graham.
Dolphins Waller.
Hey, there you go.
That's a good one, actually.
Jaguars Tebow, preseason Jaguars Tebow. Would have been good because it was fun. I mean, it lasted 2 games. It was fun though.
New York.
We're gonna spoil these movies, by the way.
Just
for anyone that's listening, we're gonna spoil these movies.
Oh yeah. Now that they've been spoiled, we're gonna spoil them.
All right, we got a movie from TJ, right? Is this the last one? I think it's the last one. Am I doing the math right? Because
I mean, we can keep going into the playoffs.
Well,
we're gonna do a playoff contest. I got a late swap on y'all.
No, I'm saying the last one we're going to assign.
No, we should be able to do one more, right?
Yeah, we can do
one more. Yeah, next week.
Yeah, we can do one more.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. We're our divisional round.
Yes. Okay.
No one's listened to this far, but Brian Schottenheimer has said that to quote Javonte Williams and Malik Davis, maybe one will play, maybe neither.
What are we doing? Why does Week 18 exist?
And the Rams are listing Quorum and Kyron Williams is questionable.
Great.
Week 18, the 1 week where you still don't even know who to play after 7 p.m.
After 1 p.m. Still don't know who to play.
Isn't Javonte on like a 1-year deal, basically? Like just kind of a prove-it deal? Yeah, there's no way, and he's healthy, like enough, and going into the offseason.
I like maybe one will play, maybe neither.
Okay.
Thank you.
Definitely not both.
Yes.
People are finally getting their Jaden Blue.
It might happen. TJ, what do you got for us? Is this a democracy or are you assigning? What do you got? What do you have as far as our movie?
No democracy this week. I am assigning. I am very excited to watch this movie. It is not one I have seen yet, but we have a review for it up at agentsfandom.com from when it came out at the Toronto International Film Festival last year, or maybe earlier this year, whenever it was. And it was in theaters for a while. I tried to go a couple times and just never could make it work timing wise. And now it just hit streaming. It just hit Prime Video. And so I'm going with The Life of Chuck, starring Tom Hiddleston. It is a adaptation of Stephen King's short story. And it is Mike Flanagan's first non-horror project.
Boo.
Did you see it already?
No, just boo that he's not doing a horror thing.
Well, he's already back doing horror again. He just took one project.
What horror movies did Mike Flanagan do?
He usually does series. He's hit or miss, but The Haunting of Hill House is the greatest horror thing I've ever watched in my life.
Really?
The series?
Yeah.
Huh.
I also have Midnight Mass and Dr. Sleep, which was the
Shining sequel.
Shining, yes.
If you've never seen The Haunting of Hill House, it's incredible.
That's on Netflix.
Yeah.
I also want to shout out the Newton brothers who score all of Flanagan's projects, and they did this one as well, who are friends of mine. So shout out to the Newton brothers.
We'll be listening to the score very heavily now for this review next week.
They also do Daredevil Born Again, X-Men 97. They made the new theme for that. So lots of good stuff from them.
Oh, nice.
Rob, have you seen Gerald's Game? That's a trippy movie.
I have not watched Gerald's Game. It's one of those ones that just has gotten away from me that I've wanted to watch.
I think that's also Stephen King. Yeah. I ran into that one streaming a couple of years ago, and I went in cold, and it's an interesting idea. If you like Flanagan, I don't know much about him, but
like I said, hit or miss with Flanagan. Like he does some really good stuff, and then some of the stuff he does, I just could care less about.
I've seen this on both some best of and worst of 2025 lists.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good.
Oh, so we're gonna get some hot takes possibly.
Yeah, the worst stuff was I think from like Variety or something, and they didn't even have Sinners in their top 30, and they've just been putting out some like aggressive clickbait lists. But that was the only worst of one I saw. But polarizing takes on this one for sure.
I'm now Googling Variety.
I'm sure this panel will be in lockstep then.
Don't do it, Dean. That's what they want you to do. They're throwing out trash lists just because people are searching, going, "What is this real?"
You're the one promoting it.
You're part of the problem.
No, I'm calling it out.
Well, I don't know how to dunk on terrible takes because they want you to dunk on their terrible. I don't know what the solution is.
You ignore them.
But then you can't prove somebody wrong. You can't victory lap.
TJ, you've gone 10 minutes without referencing Troll 2. Are you okay?
It's just seeping out of me like the green grass and green plants are from the people after they eat the goop. I just need to talk about it, but I just had one more thing that I wanted to bring up, and now I don't remember what it was. What were we talking about right before that?
Variety's top movies and how bad it is, and how do you dunk on trolls?
Oh, speaking of, you want to prove people wrong, you want to be able to dunk on trolls, Dean. What'd you think of The Pacifier?
Oh yeah. TJ maybe watched The Pacifier, and it's funny because we lost a bet on the side. We're doing some side betting. His Raptors beat my Heat. And he asked me, he goes like, "Have you seen The Pacifier?" I'm like, "No." And much like Red One, I just completely forgot. I saw it like 20 years ago. It was completely forgettable. But I turned it on. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I remember this movie." It's not. It was, you know what, better than Red One. Put that in the back of the DVD. It's fine. It's not. It's for kids. It's mostly, there's a lot of kids humor in there. It was okay. I mean, I didn't hate it completely. So it was for what it was. I expected it to be worse. And that's what life's about, expectations. I thought it'd be terrible. And it was passable. And I imagine some kids like it. And I would have loved it if I was 10, but I'm not. So I was like, But,
but I'm not.
TJ, actually, you owe me another movie, too. I lost 2 side bets, and I guess we could do that off air. But, yeah, I got another movie. Just be kind, please.
You gotta watch Pan's Labyrinth anyways. That's your next movie.
Yeah, you gotta watch that.
TJ? I don't know if you
haven't watched that either.
You need to watch it anyways. Both of you need to watch it.
Yeah,
anyways.
you both need to watch it.
I've never seen it. I guess eventually I'll get around to it.
You'll thank us.
Maybe.
Say it again, Rob.
I think Deke will like it.
Yeah, I think you'll thank us for watching it if you watch that movie.
I'll be open-minded, yeah. And I like some of his other movies for sure. Okay. I think that's it. It's week 18, just in case. Sure, why not? I feel like I have to ask. TJ, tell the people where they can find you.
Agentsofandom.com. We just had some Avatar Fire and Ash interviews drop with Stephen Lang as well as James Cameron. So that was pretty cool. Plus, we have a show every day this week. On Monday, we did our Stranger Things Volume 2 breakdown. Tuesday, we did our drafting our best movies and TV shows and wildcard moments of 2025. Wednesday was breaking down the Pluribus finale. Thursday, we had our comic corner, and now today we are talking about Percy Jackson episode 5. Monday, next coming Monday, we're talking about the Stranger Things finale. So kind of non-stop this week.
Just saw this pop up. Sarah Barshop, a Rams beat. Sean McVay said he will play his starters regardless of what happens on Saturday night between the Seahawks and the 49ers. This was 8 minutes ago. So I guess he reiterated, double down, but I still don't believe him.
That's exact. Well, they're going to play.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay.
But we don't, no one has said the part that we need to hear, though. Like how long, no one's asked how much will they play.
Yeah.
So he's technically not lying. I gotcha. Yeah, fair enough. Rob?
Just the hospital bed, I guess.
Can we send flowers? Can we send some, where do we send some food or anything?
No, I'll be fine. Yeah, hometown ghost stories, and that's it.
Have you been able to do the hometown ghost story stuff? Or are you back?
I got home Tuesday night. I did it. That was like the best I felt, and then the next day I felt miserable again. So
yeah. Hope you feel better, man. Thank you for jumping on and doing this. Do not necessarily set aside 2 hours, Red One, but you are a man of your word. You're going to watch it at some point. You're not going to thoroughly enjoy it.
No, I expect you to watch that shit.
Yeah, I'm going to watch it.
We have a pact.
Yeah, I have to watch it. It's part of the rules.
Daigle?
If You haven't found me 18 weeks and 2 hours and 10 minutes into a podcast yet that I doubt you will find me. But just in case, at NotJDaigle on Twitter and Establish the Run, where I didn't even do a waiver wire this week. I got out of that. Last year, I wrote it from India. This year was like, I don't even know who you can pick up. It's Friday, 2 days later than I usually put it out. And I still don't know who you would pick up, honestly, to fill in your lineup. So good luck. And cancel all your matchups if you're playing week 18.
What percent
week
of
18 waiver wire article just says don't allow your weeks to have a week 18 game.
Always.
Has everybody not figured this out? Like, is there really like more than like 2% of leagues that are running week 18?
Well, idiots are trying to move the playoff weeks to other stuff as well right now, where they want.
But you can, as long as buys exist in week 14. It's already a problem in FFPC.
Right.
Yeah. Because week 16 should be the championship. We should ignore week 17 too. But you can't, like Rich said, because too many teams are on bye in week 14 still.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
nothing you can do.
Rich?
Yeah, Sharp Football didn't write up worksheets this week because we did an A/B test last year and it showed that like it was fine to not do them in week 18 and it had to be changing so much that I would have lit my whole house on fire today anyways. But I will be back writing up every single playoff game though. So that's it. That's what's on the horizon is me doing playoff. I will have actually week 18 DFS content out as we hone around the board here.
Yeah, still got to wait for that too, though.
With the rest of the news for today and this weekend. But yeah, thank you for not giving us any information at all. It looks like Wan'Dale Robinson did not practice again today.
He's going to be out. Okay.
Yeah.
You can also find me on NBA Grinders Live here at RotoGrinders today because Dean's going to be out partying in Miami, and so I got to. I'm due.
We'll see.
Kenya for Dean.
Yeah, we got the hockey game. The Panthers are taking on the Rangers at Marlins Park, so that should be a good time for sure.
Do you cheer? Do you cheer for the Hurricanes, or I know that's not your school. I didn't know if you hate them or like cheer for Miami in general.
When I was a kid, I grew up disliking the Hurricanes. Now I'm just sort of fine with them. I guess I'd like to see them win. Sure, why not? Just if for no other reason, just for Michael Irvin celebrations. Michael Irvin he's the best. And he's incredible on documentaries. He should be on, I don't know if you guys saw the Cowboys documentary. He should be on every documentary, not just like the Cowboys, but like a documentary on Egypt or like the rise and fall of Stalin.
Every segment, every documentary ever made. And here's a segment on Michael Irvin. He knows nothing about this topic, but we're going to bring it in.
Very rarely can someone, I guess it's 20 years later now, 30 years later, bounce back from stabbing their teammate in the neck with scissors. But Michael Evers has done it very successfully.
Just him and Arn Anderson, right?
That's it.
He went to my high school. And he went to my high school until he got kicked out of my high school. But there were some stories I heard about him in high school that, he's a character, Michael Irvin, but an incredible. I want to see more Michael Irving, and I hope the Hurricanes keep winning for that reason.
They're wagging right now.
Yeah, they just
Ole Miss.
Is Ohio going to be all right, Rich? Is Ohio taking it well?
I was at a New Year's event actually this year, and there's some people that seem pretty bummed out. I only saw like a little bit of the game, but any time that Ohio State played a competent defense this year, definitely Sayan had his issues.
All right, that's it. We're here for 2 hours and 20 minutes, plenty of time. To jump back next week. Join us next week where we talk about real football. Yeah. Some playoff games are happening. On behalf of Rich and John and Rob and TJ, I was Dean. Good luck this week. Win something. We're out of here. Oh,